Test. Deal. Everything's still working. Haven't been doing streaming for a while, so wanted to make sure everything was still functioning properly. All right. And we can hear the game, I think. Go for William Dafoe here. Not going to go into a lot of customizations, so let's go with what we got. Why is that on easy? Oh, they actually changed the single player's default to easy. That's hilarious. I'm not actually seeing it change anything here, though. Is this right? I haven't played single player on this since the day it came out, but these numbers don't seem accurate. I would have figured that stuff would have been changed with that. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's... Okay, there we go. That's changing some stuff around. Okay, because that's what the deal was. I was very confused there for a moment. Like, what the hell is happening here? It was just automatically defaulted to Captain's Choice with Calm Waters settings. But yeah, just doing a normal playthrough. I'm not really all that interested in going completely nuts with stupid difficulties and stuff. A lot of people are complaining about the base difficulty of the game, so we're gonna do it on that one. Guess I could use my sword for that, but to be honest, I feel like kicking in the door would be more beneficial than smacking it with a saber, yeah. Pull out my weapon and break in here before the first fight even happens. I skip most of the story stuff. Exactly. That's the whole point. It is not WoW. Well, actually, I need to change the... I forgot I need to change my Twitch setup so it actually shows Windrose. There we go. Problem solved. Yeah, it's a Twitch thing. Based on the moderators of Twitch and of the history out there. I don't know. I've actually considered dropping Twitch completely. Not like I'm exactly doing this for a paycheck, and that's the only benefit that Twitch offers is as a better payout than any other company out there. All right, so standard survival game. You were on a ship, you crashed. Now you have shrapnels of ship laying around your beach here, and you have nothing. Your weapon's damaged, as you can see. I broke the tip off my sword. Completely upset about that. I was very attached to that sword for the first 7 seconds of that intro. Alright, so we'll cover some basic stuff today. For anybody that's either watching this later or watching it now and haven't played the game and are considering playing. So, game has an area of influence for building. I can't remember if you can actually even break this with a sword or not. I may have to wait and get an axe. But you have an area of influence for building. It's less about building and more about quality of life features. So putting down your bonfire, the green circle that you can kind of see outlying on the ground is the radius at which you have access to things within your base. So being able to craft from treasure chests and things like that. As long as your chests are within the radius of the bonfire, then crafting tables can pull crafting resources from those chests. And your bonfire also gives you a rested bonus, which increases your stamina regen rate. And that is affected by decorations that you have built in your base inside of the radius of the bonfire. Packages like this supply cache that's here, these will respawn if you interact with it and it picks it up. So like that package is gone now. Those will respawn as a rule. The glowing treasure chests, once you loot them, if you I'll try to get off of it here so you can see it, but on the mini map you've got this is a little discovery location. The looting, it's 0 of 1, which means there's 1 treasure chest and I've yet to find it. Well, I guess technically open it and loot it. Looting it is the important part. You have to take everything out of it or you don't consider having completed it. But once you complete it, you'll notice it doesn't say 0 of 1 anymore. It has a check mark. It means it's done. That is saved to the character, not to the map. So every person that plays on the game, if you're playing on like a dedicated server or something, everyone on the server can loot that chest. It won't necessarily have the same loot in it, but everyone can loot it. However, if you take your character and go to a completely different server thinking, oh hey, since these characters are interchangeable, I'll just pop over to another server and loot that chest again. They thought of that one, and it's actually attached to your character. So even though the world, the position of all the islands are randomly generated, the world itself is a collection of pre-generated islands. So this exact island exists in someone else's game with these exact loot points on them. And that treasure chest it will be in every single game. So once you've looted all the chests in one server, you can't go to another server and expect any chests to be there because they won't be. Now, I don't want to see. The other thing to note too, when you're starting a new game, if you want to kind of figure out where to build or what side of your island is useful. So you've got the blacked out area, which is just nothing. And then you have a slightly more grayed out oval around the visible map. That is also not playable area. Your playable area is inside of this lighter colored oval. And some places inside of that oval may also not be playable areas because we don't have ashlands yet. So every server, because they make pre-generated islands, and then the random world generation it decides randomly where to place those islands on your world map when you create a new server. So the server that I played on before, the starting islands were in the top left quadrant, and now they're in the bottom left quadrant. So most of these starting islands will probably be in this like 4 squared off area right in here. There might be 1 or 2 of them a little further out, but mostly it's going to be held into this section. Maybe they'll go across the bottom 3 instead of up here, but they're going to all be kind of piled together. And then you'll have the second biome, which will probably be right in either here or here, because it's going to touch the starting biome. And then the third biome will be in one of the remaining spots. And then there will be a portion of the map that has nothing in it and will be walled off with a warning if you try to go into it that says your ship will get destroyed. And the assumption is that's where Ashlands will be once that patch is added into the game. So, looking at this island, we can tell that most of the island is going to be upwards in this direction, but we're in the bottom, pretty much the bottom southwest of the map. So if I'm going to build a base and stay on this island, which in a single player game is perfectly viable, there's no real benefit to being centralized in the map or anything like that, because there's tons of teleportation. The biggest thing that I want to look at is I want to be on the side of the island that's closer to all the other content. Because if I sail out of my island and go somewhere, I don't want to have to sail all the way around the island every time to get to all of the other places in the game. So if you're playing on a server, I highly suggest, unless you have if you have friends that play together and don't steal each other's resources and things like that. In my opinion, this game is very anti-multiplayer right now for various reasons that I'll go into shortly. But if you're playing on a server, it's better off usually if people spread out to different starting islands, primarily because you're going to have the starting island is so far has always had a mine on it, but the mine takes roughly 3 real-life hours to respawn, and if you go in there and clear out all the metal, then no one else can go in and clear out the metal. And as a rule, it takes 1 to 1.5 clears to be able to build all the stuff you need to move on to the next tier. So it will take you multiple days of clearing that one mine in order to outfit multiple people with all the stuff that they need to move on. So probably going to build on this northeast corner, which is funny because the last server I played on, I built in the northeast corner, just for a different reason. So maybe over there where that destroyed dinghy is at. So some of the negatives of playing with in multiplayer, which it's going to vary from person to person, of course. These are negatives in my opinion, because of based on the way that I like to play survival games. One of the negatives about playing multiplayer is the resources are a lot more limited for things. So the more people you have, the harder it is to deal with stuff. For example, trees do not respawn in this game. There will be plenty of people that say, oh my god, they totally respawn. The developers have released a note and said they do not respawn. So anyone that's saying they are will know what they're talking about as of the time of filming this video. They may change that in the future. Baseline trees are pretty plentiful. I mean, if you cleared this entire island of trees, I don't think you would ever have a need for base wood again. Plus all of this like driftwood and stuff will respawn, so you can always pick up these little pieces of wood and stuff laying all over the place, and that'll help you a lot with wood needs. But generally when I'm playing, I'll go through and thin out the wood some so it doesn't look like a jungle and you can see more clearly. I'll destroy the brush and stuff like that because it doesn't respawn, just so it looks a little more clean and you can kind of see through if something's gonna come and eat your face. But outside of that, I only thin the trees and it'll be more than enough for what I need. Plus you can get baseline wood out of all 3 of the current versions, but for example, when you move in later, you'll get hardwood, and that wood is limited. Something interesting you can do, it's a little disappointing that it doesn't work better, but when you see a tree with coconuts on it like that one there, you can just go up and hit the E button and you basically just shake the tree and the coconuts will fall. So you can, you'll pick up all the coconuts as they fall off the tree. The negative thing about that is they don't respawn. So those coconuts will never grow back. So my thought on it was, it's like, oh, there's a good source of you can get there. You can just shake the tree, get some coconuts, and make various coconut meals and things like that. And when you need more coconuts, go back out and shake the tree. Yeah, they don't grow back. So really no difference in shaking the tree or cutting down the tree as far as getting coconuts goes. Previous game, I did a saber playthrough. I think I'm actually going to do a rapier playthrough this time. I'm not 100% positive, but that's what I'm leaning towards. I know a lot of people are claiming that the meta right now is using halberds. Halberds just don't interest me. I don't even remember if you can actually perfect parry with a halberd. I know with the maces you cannot, and if you're having a problem with the parry system in the game, you may consider using a mace instead of a saber or a rapier. It doesn't give you the ability to perfect parry, so all you can do is hold block and just try to avoid some incoming damage, but it's still going to reduce your poise, which will eventually stun you if you run out of poise and get hit again. But the nice thing about the mace is it generates a lot of stun damage, so you constantly flinch and stun enemies a lot faster. So if you're not good at perfect parries, which is really necessary if you're going to use a saber or a rapier, then the mace is a very good alternative. The one benefit that I will give a halberd is they're longer, so when you're doing tight combat like on a ship, a saber will not reach through an ally sailor that is helping you fight on the ship. A rapier might, because it's a lot more straightforward damage than slicing, so it's a little more lunging. I haven't tested that yet, but the halberd will definitely swing through a friendly pirate, so halberds can be beneficial for when fighting on some of the smaller ships. There's no negative to having several different types of weapons and using them for their various strengths and weaknesses as well. The talent system does very little for you in the game overall, and there is also no restrictions to spending talent points. So once you start spending points at any time, there will be a little button here you can click, and it will reset all of your stats and all of your talent points, and you can just respend them again. There's no cost involved, there's no negative for doing it, so definitely test out various things that you like about the game and try those out. Holy crap, I got a crab shell. So, crab shell is a running joke for me. I spent the greater part of the last game trying to get a crab shell. For one, it's one of the minor discoveries, so I like the completion's sake of filling up all the question marks. And for two, when you're doing comfort to increase the duration of your rested bonus inside of your base, putting up the different decorations, you can only do one of each category to get an extra comfort level, with the exception of trophies. So you can build trophies of the various enemies that you fight by getting, generally it's a head, and you can turn that into like a wall mount trophy. For the crab, it's the shell, and you get +1 comfort for each unique trophy that you have. So having a crab shell, especially this early, will be nice for an extra point of comfort, so that I can keep my rested bonus longer. All right, so generally when you're placing your bonfire, it's a good idea to place it, if you're planning on having a pier or something like that, you want to place the bonfire a little closer to the water, because you're going to get an upgrade or a building later that affects your ship, which is a wharf, and that wharf can be attached to, and I think it has to be placed in water, but it can be attached to your pier, and it has to be within the radius of your bonfire. So placing this a little closer to the water. If you want to build a nice big pier that kind of goes way out deep into the ocean a little bit, then that will allow the influence area for that to go way out there. Your buildings, you can build anywhere. You don't need a bonfire in order to build anything. So if you want to build like a nice, cool-looking base that has really neat, it's just huge or whatever, the only thing that needs to be inside of the area of your bonfire is your workbenches, your boxes, and any of the cosmetics that you want to apply towards your rested bonus. You can have cosmetics in other part of your base that are outside. So for example, I'll set up like I'm going to build a table. So the outer limit of my circle is, it's a pretty decent size, but if you want to build like a massive castle or something, you could build something that is 3 times the size of this, or even greater. You could cover this entire island if that's what you want to do. But anything outside of this circle, you don't get the comfort bonus for it. So if I place, like, for example, that the crab decoration out here, it wouldn't add to the bonus of this this particular bonfire. One other unfortunate thing is about bonfires as well is their radius cannot overlap at all. So if you made another bonfire, it would have to be equally distant from me to the bonfire, basically in that direction, because the edge of the bonfire can come up to the edge of this bonfire, but they cannot overlap. It will tell you that there is another bonfire too close. And you can see in the bottom, kind of bottom left of my screen, there's a little, looks like a happy little green dude there. That is the rested bonus. It is currently level 1. You get a base level 1 rested bonus from your bonfire. Sorry. Nose is itching me today. So we've collected a few extra things. Go ahead and grab out our mining gear. One of the things that I highly suggest is, if you are playing the game for the first time, do not overlook your pistol if you're planning on using one-handed weapons. There is zero benefit. There are 0 shields in the game, and there is 0 benefit from having your second hand empty. So being able to have a pistol and use it when necessary is nice. Unfortunately, you cannot use it to pull an enemy away from other enemies. If you shoot your pistol and hit an enemy, it will aggro all the enemies in the area as though you were there in person. So you can't really use it to split enemies very well. I was kind of hoping that would be a thing, but I guess it makes sense that, shooting a loud firearm would alert a lot of people. So, but you will, even if you don't necessarily like using the gun, there are beneficial weapons later on that will give you buffs, like the pistol that I like to use with the saber makes the enemy take 15% extra damage from all sources. So at the beginning of a fight on a big enemy, I just pop up and shoot him one time with the pistol. I'm not worried about the pistol's damage. I just want to get that debuff up there, and then I hack away with the weapon and you do extra damage. So make sure you understand how the pistols work, things along those lines. Okay, so what do I actually need to do right now? Campfire, probably, or cooking pot. Yep. And I guess just for the sake of having some, we'll get a couple of boiled crab. The number of slots that you get here are kind of unfortunate. You only get the 8. A lot of games will give you 10 or 12, but for whatever reason, they limit you to 8. I like having the food, at least early on in the game, when you have fewer tools and stuff. I like having the food on a button because you can just quickly hit it and get your food buff. However, later in the game, once you get, like a shovel and various other items, you start getting buffs, like flasks and potions and stuff like that. Then you start eating up all these spots with things that you need immediately. I also like to have, at the beginning anyways, I like to have my lamp on there, because you can just quickly hit the button and now your lamp is on your belt. But yeah, so at least it doesn't take up a spot for your hand. And then tents. There's a lot of people that think that the tent requires a bonfire. That is inaccurate. You can literally place a tent anywhere and hit E on it, and that will give you your respawn. It sets your respawn point to that tent. If the tent is destroyed, I don't actually know what happens if you die. So keep that in mind. I don't think I've run into that issue. It shouldn't be a thing that happens if you're playing in single player. But in multiplayer, everything is shared, so anything that I build, anyone else on my server could come in and destroy or change or move those items. So you got to be careful for that sort of thing. Now it wants me to kill a boar. Kill a boar, get some hide, blah, blah, blah. Got to be careful with boars sometimes. They like to have friends that hang in the background. When you're fighting things like boars, especially if they're solo, a regular boar has one attack. It will run up to you and it will lunge at you kind of at an angle one time. You can parry that or you can block it, whichever. Boars are completely able to be flinched, which means if they're in the process of attacking and you hit them, it will break them out of the animation and they won't hit you. There is a cooldown on flinching though. You can only flinch every so often, so you can't knock an enemy out of every single attack. But once you've kind of played the game enough, you start to figure out what that timer is. The timer seems to be the same regardless of the enemy type you're fighting. And it's usually just several seconds, so like a 5-second window. You can flinch once every 5 seconds, but most things will attack you more than once every 5 seconds. So you start out with super low health, as you can tell, but this game uses the Valheim system for eating food. It's slightly better in my opinion because it doesn't degrade over time. It's just either you have the food or you don't. And you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, there's 3 grayed out icons. One of them is a buff location, and then the other 2 are food. You can eat any 2 foods in the game. You cannot eat the same food twice. But any 2 foods, you can eat them. All food will increase your health. And then it will also, some foods will also give an additional benefit. Sometimes that additional benefit is just more vitality, which just ends up being more health. So you'll get more health for eating the food, and then you'll get more health equal to the plus vitality that the food offers. What was the bonus on this food? So this one's just straight up health, nothing else. No extra benefit on the boiled crab or whatever the hell that was. As you get new items out in the world, you'll get new recipes. Generally, you're always going to have, this is going to be related to the boss. So the boss for this area, in order to open up the next area, it doesn't matter how much of this stuff that you collect, it only matters whether the boss is dead. And the boss is generally going to have a quest line that you have to do to gain access to it. These 5 items are generally like primary crafting items. It usually will show you a grayed out version of the first 4, so you kind of know what you're looking for. And some of them are a little misleading, like this is raw copper or copper ore, and then this is just copper ingot. So it's like, well, you get this, you smelt it, and it gives you that. So I'd argue that this one's less of a discovery, but they decided to go that way with it. I forget what the 5th thing is here. Eggs, maybe? I don't remember. So that unlocks some extra things, the big thing being clothes. One thing to notice when you mouse over the armor and clothing workshop, it'll tell you on the right-hand side the required resources to build it, and then below it gives you a small description. The things to notice is, 1, it says it requires a roof, so you need to build a building with a roof or you won't be able to use the table. And then this particular table has to be within a bonfire in order to function at all. Whereas like the workbench, for example, you can place that without a bonfire and it'll allow you to craft quick things when you're out fighting. You can craft bandages or rope or things along those lines out in the field by simply just crafting that workbench and then making the stuff in it. I actually think it's funny that I found a bell so early. I don't think I've ever seen one of those on the first island before. And leveling, the way that you level in the game, when you click progression, you got a bar that's filling up here, and then you also have the actual stat number below it telling you how much leveling you're doing. You only get experience from completing quests and then completing these question mark markers on the map. Usually on average, these markers are going to give you 25, 50, or 100 points for completing them, depending on their various sizes and complexities. And if I recall correctly, I think all of the question marks are always going to be loot X amount of treasure chests. You don't have to kill any of the enemies in any of those places if you don't want to. Though it's going to make getting things a lot more difficult if you don't kill them. Yeah, I'm gonna go with rapier, I think. Okay, so the sow is the small boar. There's 3 different types of boars that you'll see in the first area. The sow is the small one, and then the boar is the middle-sized boar. The middle-sized boar can attack twice. That's his big difference. Actually, I'm sorry, there is a third or a fourth kind of boar as well. I forgot about the charging boar as well. We'll get to those guys soon enough. So one of the big problems that people have with this game is just trying to Rambo or Conan style into a place, and that's never a good plan. So if you feel that you're starting to get surrounded, the best thing to do is to just run away. Get away from the enemies if you don't like dying. There is literally zero downside to dying other than having to run back to your core. When you die, you won't drop specific things. You don't drop any of your tools, your weapons. You don't drop any of the armor you're wearing. You won't drop things like the lanterns, buff materials, so you don't drop food. You don't drop potions or flasks. But most of the other stuff, like your crafting components, will drop on the ground. Even weapons that's not on your hotbar, you won't drop those if you die either. So one of the things that I suggest making early on is just make yourself up 10 cloth and then turn those 10 cloth into 10 bandages. The bad thing about eating food is I didn't eat the food before I went into combat, and because of that, my health was low, and then I ate food. If your health is low and you eat food, it will not heal you, even though, so let's say you have 25 health max and you eat a piece of food that turns your health from 25 to 50. If your health is full, or sorry, turns your health from 25 to 50. If your health is full when you eat the food, it will increase your health bar and it will give you full health. If your health is not full, it gives you a reduced amount of the current health. So it's not, the fact that it gives you 25 more health, it's not going to add 25 health to your health bar because it doesn't want you using it as a healing potion, essentially. The other nice thing about coconuts is while they are an ingredient, they are also individually edible, so they count as a second food early on. But yeah, having, for example, having bandages available is super beneficial early on. You do heal relatively quickly, but in combat you can run away from an enemy long enough to apply a bandage, and you'll get the bandage ticks as long as you don't take damage. But if you take damage, the remaining time on your bandage will fade. Alright, so we came over here before and we had a random pig that was outside that I didn't notice, so let's see if we can get this guy's attention here alone. There he goes. He'll attack twice. 1, 2. You just got to block them both. 1, 2. He does not always do the second attack. 1, 2. He can be flinched. And then he was stunned specifically because I parried so many of his attacks starting out. This weapon is terrible, so it takes 100 swings to kill anything. As an average, when working with a saber or a rapier, if you can flinch the enemy, I generally will do 3 attacks. If you cannot flinch the enemy, I generally will only do 1 attack. Because you parry and then quickly attack, but then they will load up another attack and start swinging, and if you're in the middle of a swing, you cannot block or parry because you're locked into your animation. So that will cause you some problems. So if you're not wanting to take damage, you don't want to get hit, you don't like dying, then just be careful about how you pick and choose your attacks. As you start to get more and more feel for the combat in the game, you'll know different bosses, or not bosses, but different enemies will have different timings to their swings and stuff like that. And you'll know which ones you can get away with an extra attack here and there with, and still be able to get the perfect parry off. But some of them just have funky timings, and it's better to be safe than sorry when you don't know. And for those of you that are unaware, you do have under the adventure section, there is a challenges. This one's for boars. You kill boars. The reward doesn't give you the boar trophy, it gives you the ability to craft a boar trophy. So at some point when you're killing boars, they'll drop a boar's head, throw that in a box, and when you finish these 40 kills and you can do the boar trophy, then that's another +1 to comfort in your base. I think we're going to try to build a small base here at this point. I really don't like the circular system. For this game to have taken so many hat tips from Enshrouded, I really, really wish they would have made these square areas of influence, because the nice thing about Enshrouded is you can overlap the area of control of the base building tool that you put down, and it actually causes them to share stuff. So let's say you have 2 bases that are completely separated from each other and both of them have chests, but one of them has crafting tables and the other one doesn't. If you put a new area of control in the middle and it links up all 3 of those, you can now use supplies from the chests that are super far away in the crafting tables that are in the far end of the system. This game doesn't do that, and I really wish they would. So they either need to allow you to overlap the bonfires, or they need to turn them square so you can butt them up next to each other. But one thing that a lot of people don't notice about when they're building on this as well is if you press Q, you're going to come up with a lot of building options. If you get frustrated with twisting things, like the number of twists that you get in here are based on the angle at which you're twisting, you can go in here and change those angles. So 15 is the smallest, you got 30, 45, and 90. So of course 90 degrees on a square is it just turns an entire side each time. 45 degrees would be half of that, so you'll get a half turn, and then there's 90, half turn, 90, etc., etc. So if you're a lot of people, I think the game defaults to 30, but if you're trying to get it to twist and it's like, that's still too much twist, I wish I could make it twist less. Yeah, you just hit this, drop it down to 15, and now the twist is even shorter. So it helps you kind of fine tune some building a little bit more, which is nice, and the game does absolutely nothing to explain that to you, other than just having the button at the bottom of the screen, which most people don't seem to read. You can turn snapping on and off, which is pretty common with most games. It's normally just a key. The other really nice one is when you come in here, you can hit this to go to a high position. So now you're looking down, like more downwards on buildings, and it will make building a lot easier for you for placing hard to get stuff. My favorite thing about this game so far has been being able to place more than one tile. So if I press this and hold left click, I can just move over to the side. When my cursor touches that bar that's growing, it just places another one right there. So I can just hold the button down and just keep placing this stuff just like this. Super, super awesome for fast building. I really love that system. Generally, the first building I make is very simplistic in nature, simply just to get a roof over some crafting tables and the ability to put up a few minor decorations. To be able to put up a few minor decorations so that I can get more of a rested bonus, because yeah, rested is super nice. Why? Oh, weird. It's the first one that's off. Weird. I did not even catch that. I was like, what is happening here? One nice thing about that is it blew up all 4 of those. It does give you the resources back for all 4 of them, even though you destroyed one and it crushed all the other ones. A lot of survival games don't do that. It will only give you the resources back for the one you broke, and all the subsequent ones that were broken, you just lose the resources. This game does not do that, which is phenomenal. It will give you all the resources back. I don't know if there's an upper limit to that, so you know, if you had like 500 things on one post and you destroyed the post, would it destroy the thing? I don't know. Or not would it destroy the thing, but would it give you all the resources for all 500 of those? There may be an upper limit to it, but the game does also seem to have a little bit of a stability building system, so you probably couldn't put 500 pieces on top of a pillar anyways, unless it was 500 pillars straight in a line, like straight up. That might work. I haven't really pushed the limits of the building system on this yet. The building that I made in my previous game was pretty much just like a small Spanish fort, so didn't have a whole lot of massive parts and stuff all over the place. They did show some really cool base ideas in their video for the game, which is really nice. That, you know, like they had the forethought to make or to give you the ability to make a lot of really cool and interesting buildings, and that you can build really large things and it doesn't really affect the game too much. The overall lag for the game hasn't been bad at all, even for large bases and stuff. It's not been a huge deal, which is really nice. Doors. The only thing that I don't like about the game with the building is this. So they have I think they call it a bit system. So a regular door is 2 bits, which is the same width as a wall or a floor. They're like, the floors are 2 bits by 2 bits, and the walls are also 2 bits by 2 bits. This door is 2 bits on the bottom by 3 bits tall. So that's one of the reasons why you have, when you're looking in walls, you have these tiny ones here. So it's like, well, that is a 1 by 1 bit, is just one of those squares. So all doors will require those to go across the top of them. But if you like making things symmetrical, really annoying concept is that double doors are not 4 bits wide, they're 3. So you can't make a perfect center, because the double doors are an odd number of bits, while all floors are even numbers of bits. So it is not possible to have a perfectly symmetrical base, which I'm sure will drive a lot of people nuts. Yes. Yeah, it does kind of drive me a little nuts. But yeah, I like having the double doors because they're nicer to be able to walk out on. But then, yeah, you have to put in the little 1-bit walls there, which is really annoying. Honestly, when you're doing roofing, that's one of the things that I do like about this game. A lot of games, in order to be considered a roof, will require a complete enclosure and not just a roof. Whereas this game, literally a lean-to is all you need to technically be qualified to having a roof. Hey, what's up, Joe? So technically, for roofing purposes, under a roof, not under a roof. So like that's the one nice thing is they just made it very simple for that. Oh yeah, I made that an even number, so it should be good. But I also don't like getting rained on just cause, so skylight there, it's all good. But yeah, so this is now roofed, so you can put down crafting tables and stuff can go down now, no problems. Assuming, you know, you have the resources to actually do so. And the combat in this game is pretty simplistic as far as how it calculates things. So when you're looking at like weapons or armor, armor only has one kind of stat on it, where weapons have two stats. So these are the important things to look at. Is armor is going to just have a defense rating. So these are a defense rating of 90, and that's basically 10% short of level 1 defense. Because this is your starting gear, they give you 90 defense, but it's walking me through the system now where it's wanting me to create the armor table, and then when I do that, it will have me create a piece of armor that will be 100 defense and is basically level 1. So what that means is right now, because my defense is technically lower than level 1, that means that I take extra damage from level 1 enemies. So it is extremely important that you want to have at least the same level, average item level. And the easiest way to know it is just by looking down here. Is average armor item level is 1. That's because this is rounded up. You know, 5 pieces of 90 is all of them are level 1. This is the only set of armor that will be less than basically 100 per level, or like 1 increment per level. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. Place our little armor crafting table. Now we can go in here, and yeah, so I need some more cloth. Normally, once you get a whole bunch of stuff here, you just create a whole bunch of cloth, and you don't have to keep running outside. I normally leave that table outside just to have less clutter in a building, because it's not super beneficial. What they want me to build is boots, so we'll go ahead and build those, and I have a set of boots, completed the quest. And now you can look at the boots here. They're 100 defense, whereas these boots are a 90. So we'll put those on. Now I'm essentially my item, or my average armor is now, or average defense is now at 92, because I have 4 at 90 and 1 at 100. When you go in to do the upgrade, you can look at this. So every increment will go up by 20 points. So level 2. You will take extra damage from level 2 enemies unless your average armor is at least 120. And that's kind of how the system works. So if you feel like you're taking way too much damage when you're getting hit by stuff, just go through and upgrade all of your armor. If you're fighting level 5s, then you, I think you want 180, I think is the number you're looking to hit for that. But basically, whatever this number is right here, whatever level it says underneath of it, you just want them to all be level 5. So aside from this very beginner starter gear, you want your average armor item level to be the same as the level of the enemy you're fighting. Your actual experience level does not change the amount of damage you deal or take, specifically because you are that level. Now, spending your points to increase your stats will increase damage or increase health. And then getting talent points will increase damage or give damage reduction, but inherently experience level does not do anything for you other than track the rate at which you are gaining stat points. All right. So I need to get the rest of my armor, so it's probably be a good idea to go back over to this question mark that I had here and look into finishing off the borders. I've also spent long enough that my food has worn off, so we'll eat some more food and get the health bar to go back up. It's always the big thing is pay attention to those because they have a timer. I think that food was like 15 minutes. I think the coconuts are actually only 7. So in 7 minutes, the extra health that I get from the coconut is going to wear off. It doesn't matter if I'm in battle or not. My health bar is going to shrink. If you're ever fighting multiple enemies with a saber, it is generally best to line them up. If you can get them to where they're in a straight line, you can hit through them and usually flinch both of them if they're able to be flinched. If they can't be flinched, then this tactic does not work as well. But unfortunately with this game, I know there's a lot of people out there on the forums and stuff like that, and Steam or on various Reddit sites and stuff, and you go in there complaining, saying, oh, this game is really hard, and their response is get good. Unfortunately, they're not necessarily inaccurate. The attitude about how they tell you that is wrong in my opinion, but a huge portion of playing this is just memorizing the moves. I mean, it's not going to be completely organic, otherwise it would be a completely different kind of game. So there are very specific rules that combat follows, and you can kind of try to stretch the ends of those rules, but they can't be broken. So if it can be flinched, see, I tried to attack it again too slowly, and I didn't flinch his second attack because he was immune to the flinch. But this is collecting up a bunch of hide, which I need to make the full set of armor. And these enemies are all level 2, so they're naturally dealing higher damage to me because I don't even have average item level or average defense of 100 on my gear right now. It's technically lower than that. Oh shit. So much inventory management issues at the beginning. So even the level 2 enemies are going to be dealing extra damage to me now than what they will in, just a few minutes after crafting more armor. So the number one most important thing is generally to get your weapons and your armor leveled up as quickly as you can. And I forgot to explain it, but since I'm getting full on gear, I'll run back and drop some stuff off, and I'll explain the weapon stat real quick. The worst thing about this game is the damn stamina bar. Like once you get really comfortable with the combat system, the stamina bar is your biggest enemy. So basically your weapon, you're going to have 2 different stats on it. The first one is going to be the attack stat, and that is how much damage you do to the enemy based on their defense stat. And their defense stat is roughly going to be an average of 100 at level 1. At level 2, it's going to be an average of 120. So at level 1, I'm doing less damage to an enemy because they have 100 defense and I have a 90 attack. If I upgrade this weapon to the unbroken one, then it will have 100 and I will do normal damage to a level 1 enemy. If I'm higher than it, I will do more damage to it, just like if you're lower, you do less damage to it. And that's the concept for how you do more damage. Below that 90 attack is 190 slash. That's the actual damage that you deal. And that can be varied based on how much above or below an enemy your attack is compared to their defense rating. And then off to the right of that, sabers are an agility-based weapon. So the more agility you have, the more damage you'll deal. The letter rating determines how much more damage you will deal. So I think C is the lowest rated one, and it goes up to S. So you have C, B, A, and S for your rankings. And obviously an S having points of agility will affect your damage significantly more than a weapon with a C rating with the same amount of agility. It also wants me to go mine a cave now. Placements of your... where the hell are they? Placements of your containers are relatively irrelevant. The biggest thing is whether or not you have nails. Sadly, currently 28 item slots is the highest item slot thing that I have seen, and you have access to them from the beginning of the game. So it doesn't hurt to just go ahead and place one early on if you've got the nails. Nails are very easy to get by breaking up the wrecked pieces that you see on the shores. You can just craft that stuff that way. Oh, there are a couple of D-rated weapons. Yeah, there may be. I was very specific on running with all sabers, and I don't think I noticed I pretty much stayed with the same saber the whole game. So didn't even try the different versions of sabers all that much. I think it was the very first blue saber that you get. It's like the sturdy saber or something like that. I just stuck with it the whole time. Let's see. Oh, Sin, you will be happy to know my second or third crab gave me a crab shell. The curse is over. So we'll get some decorations going here. Go ahead and throw up this crab trophy because I can. We can throw a little table in here. Throw a shelf in here. Like, the placement on them for now are completely irrelevant. Each one of these categories will give you one comfort level. So a single light will give you a level of comfort, but having 50 lights doesn't give you 50 comfort. Now, one thing to note is if this lighting says on the right-hand side, it says it gives comfort +1, there may be a light that you can find that says comfort +2. That's something to pay attention to. That particular light will give you 2, whereas the other lights will only give you 1. But having 1 of every single one of these items will keep raising your comfort level, which will keep raising the amount of... Oh, I don't have any rope for that. What else can I make? Anything out of this category? No. Don't have the fabric for that. I can make a little thing here. And I guess I'll put a little stool in front of it. So yeah, that got me up to comfort level 8, which is probably going to be a few minutes worth of comfort, which is not bad. And I probably should make a little bit more food before I go. Oh, actually, wait, no, I don't need to. As a rule, the starting island does not have enemies in its copper mine. All of the other mines seem to have enemies in them, but the starting island one has yet to have it for any of the games I've played. Let's see, I should have one more chest in here somewhere. I got the buried one. Or I think I did. Yeah. I like miss a... What am I missing here? Ah. Broken wall. So you gotta watch out for these broken walls. You can just bust them up with a pick. I think you can actually even just hit them with your sword. Once again, these types of containers here will respawn. If you interact with it and it picks it up and removes it from the world, as a rule, it will respawn given enough time. Make sure you regularly check your curios as well, because you will pick up these patterns here, and these are how you unlock more, generally more decorations and things like that, but you actually have to select them, and you can hit spacebar or click the learn button, either one. You add those to your building list, which some of the decorations, like if it doesn't create a new category, it's not necessarily going to give you better not necessarily going to give you better comfort, but it can keep the same comfort while getting a different aesthetic that you prefer. Your first mine you're going to get a quest for, so you can see on the minimap there's an icon right here. That's the quest marker. It just shows you where the first map's at. One of the really cool things about this game that I think was discovered by Caldos, actually, is the fact that you can break all of the stuff in here and then place down torches all over the place. And torches do not affect respawning of materials in this game because most materials don't respawn. All of the mining caves will respawn given enough time. And so you can come in here and fill this whole place with torches. So there's literally zero darkness. And all of these resources will just grow over top of and completely cover the lights. The unfortunate thing is when they're completely covered, they don't give off light because it's blocked by the resources. But as soon as you break them, you will expose the light once again. But the placing of them is irrelevant for materials respawning. If you want the light effect of them, then I would suggest not putting it in the dead center of this room, because when the room respawns, you won't be able to see the light until you clear out around the torch again. So, but sticking one in the hallway here immediately before it would still light up the room and allow you to see everything well. Oh, that's interesting. So the heavy swing with the pick hits multiple targets a lot easier than just the standard overhead swing. It can hit multiple targets, but the heavy swing seems to do a lot better with it. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, I know Sin had talked about this previously, that I think he made the comment that the heavy swing was working pretty well, but I hadn't actually got a chance to try it. Actually, that's pretty nice. I like that. I think one of the things that would be kind of cool for this game is to have a death tracker, like just to track how many times you died while playing. Because like I said, there's no real negative to dying other than having to go back and get your stuff. But there, you know, like you don't lose experience for it. You don't have durability on your gear, nothing like that. I mean, if you were using foods or you know, like a buffing elixir or something like that, you lose that, unfortunately. But yeah. Yeah, the speeding up mining that's really nice. I like that. So obviously my inventory is already getting full, possibly because I may have accidentally forgot to make a bag before I left the house there. But I discovered the resource here, so now I can go back and actually smelt some stuff. And by discovering that resource, it's unlocked some new food recipes, which will be nice to have. A lot of people like to dump out the stone when they're farming in there. The stone will respawn just like the other stuff does inside of a cave or inside of any of the mining areas. They're not necessarily always a cave, so keep that in mind. But anywhere that metal nodes spawn, those will respawn along with the rock nodes. They will also respawn. But having stone is nice if you want to go for a specific aesthetic on your buildings later on, because it does use a whole lot of it. So having a bunch of extra stone lying around for future building projects is usually a good idea. So when you have things in a box, you can, when you're close to it, you can press Q to deposit things in there. So you can hit E to open it, or you can press Q to deposit similar items. So if, say, for example, there's rocks in here, if I have rocks and I hit Q, it'll put all the rocks in there. Another nice, just quick thing to do is if you come back with a whole bunch of ore, but you have none in there, just put one stack in, press escape and hit Q, and it will dump all the rest of them in there. It's a minor thing, but efficient is efficient. So let's see, we need also, yeah, getting your first metal gets Galen to show up. He is a lying, dirty, double-crossing rat bastard. Do not believe anything he says. I think that is a direct quote from Sin. I'm just saying.
Captain.
But yeah, his storyline is interesting. The story for the game is actually, relatively cool. They actually get into some interesting minor history, like they even, like you cross over a storyline about Christopher Columbus in here. I was like, so they got some neat little Easter eggs and stuff in here. It's not just 100% fictitious stuff, so it's kind of nice. It's some of the story, we'll just say it's based in history. How's that sound? Like an episode of Cops. All right. Oh, that's not what I wanted. So we've got new crafting tables. We've got our kiln, which I need some clay for, and we have that right over here. Clay also will respawn, which is nice. At least I'm 99% certain it respawns. I would also suggest stocking up on clay when you find it, because the deposits are usually relatively small. Like this is just a standard clay spawn amount. That I don't think they really get larger or smaller, and the amount of clay that you get is mostly a fixed amount. But there are a lot of really nice building tiles later that use clay. So I suggest whenever you see clay, just mine it up and stick it in a box, because if you decide to start building out of it later, you're going to burn through it really fast. But you can do both. There is a tile set that you can build walls and floors completely out of clay, and then there's also the like terracotta roof style that uses clay for the roofing. So depending on your aesthetics that you want to build out of, the thing to keep in mind. But clay is also used specifically to build a kiln and perhaps some wood. Although it seems weird that you would need wood for a kiln. I mean, to build it. Oh yeah, you gotta have clay for the alchemy, for making bottles. That's one of the things that I suggest getting early on if you like keeping a lot of consumables like health and buff potions and stuff. There are some pirates that you can hire later on to add effects to your crafting tables, essentially. And one of the pirates that you can get makes it to where anytime you craft a bottle, it always crafts two. I highly suggest getting that one pretty early if you like having crafting materials around. The other one that is actually pretty nice as well is the one that has a chance to, when you go into a bench and go to upgrade, and you try to upgrade a piece of gear, it has like roughly probably around a 10% chance or so to do the upgrade for free. That's the one I would suggest getting as soon as you possibly can, because it will save you a lot of resources later on. And then I would suggest getting the one that doubles the bottles crafted as your second one that you get. All right, so we got some wood, we got a kiln. Put it over here on the water side in case it catches on fire and I need to put it out. That's completely false. It doesn't really happen, but... my other big suggestion, especially early on for the game, is always have coal crafting. Coal is used in creating all the ingots, pretty much every ingot that you create until late, like, I guess the final ingot. So the iron ingots and the copper ingots both require coal in order to smelt. So coal takes... Actually, I think coal takes longer to create than it does to actually smelt the iron. So I suggest keeping a nice stockpile of coal, and just that way when you get some metal that you need smelted, you can just throw it in there real quick and everything's good. Another important aspect when building a base, if you are wanting to build something that is large, you can build a shovel, which will allow you to kind of terraform the ground a little bit, but it's a little finicky. I've definitely seen games that allow terraforming that have a much worse system in it, but this one can be a little finicky trying to get things to kind of flatten out the way you want. So one trick to building a larger base, because if you start building floors, say for example here, and you make the floors really close to the sand, well, as you start moving this way, it'll start placing it under the sand and under the ground, and you won't be able to see it anymore, which makes for a not very beneficial building a lot of times. So like in most survival games, if you don't want to deal with having to terraform, then build your building starting on the highest point of land and build out from that point, because the foundations can get very high off of the ground. So it's not as big of a deal. Plus, being a pirate, it's kind of cool having buildings on stilts. This makes sense, right? Alright, so we'll let that go for a minute. I'm probably going to need more... Oh no, just clay and stone for the smelting. So we got that. Got a little bit of coal here, not much. Can make a couple. And we'll let that go. And I think I can make the very first bag with very minor resources, like some... Doesn't it just take some leather? Yeah, so I need some... Oh, wait. Actually, it's just rope and cloth. So yeah, I should be able to... do that right now, maybe? No. Three weeds away from doing the second cloth. Probably not as big of a deal in a single-player game, but on a server, I feel like them leaving all the items that you harvest to just lay on the ground is a really bad idea. I mean, anything that... I mean, if I cut this down and my inventory's full and it drops that rope right there onto the ground, that will stay there forever. That plant fiber will never go away. They don't seem to have a despawning system in the game, so if you're running a private server, be careful to make sure you're cleaning up after yourselves. At the very least, pick up all of it and then drop it, because when you throw out a stack of 100, it's still just one icon. So that will help a lot with keeping trash on the ground and will help your server run more smoothly if you're running a server with low resources, or, you know, pushing the 8-player cap on a dedicated server. Just a minor little tip to help out with that some. Let's just go ahead and create a bunch of fabric. One thing to also note, if something's in the crafting table, if you're working with that table, it will craft, but that's all of the cloth that I have. I'm pretty sure if I come over here, yeah, it tells me I have no cloth. So if you're working in the same table, you can leave the resources inside of the table. But if you want this cloth to be accessible from another table, you got to take it out and put it in a box. All right, so there's the bag. Each bag upgrade gives you 4 slots. I did notice today that if you're familiar with CurseForge, they are supporting mods for the game, so you can put a lot of mods on the game. There's hundreds of them out there already. They range from making the game stupid easy to making it even more stupidly easy, unfortunately. But one of the ones that was mildly interesting is they had a backpack mod that just doubled the amount of slots that you get from the bags. So instead of getting 4 per upgrade, it would give you 8 per upgrade. And I definitely feel like there's a ridiculous limit on the amount of things you can carry in this game. So that may be a mod that I would have some interest in using in the future. But I'm also a giant pack rat, so there's that. Build a couple more pieces of gear while I'm waiting on that iron to cook. Another thing that I suggest building early, primarily just so you don't have, because once again, having stuff laying around, it's like, well, I can drop these pieces of gear that I don't use. But as you can see, they're just laying here and they don't go away. So one of the things I suggest building when you can afford it relatively early is the disassembly table, because then even those starter items, you can break them back down into their original components and reuse them. I feel like I haven't killed any birds yet. I should probably kill birds. If you haven't paid a lot of attention on the starter island, there's 2 different kinds of trees. You got palm trees and then ficus. The ficus give more wood than palm trees do on average. So if you're really wanting to collect wood, go through and that's generally what I do, is I leave the palm trees up and I'll go and clear out all the ficus trees first, because you get more wood for them, and it still makes your island look like you have some trees on it. And then if you still need even more wood, then you can start chopping down some palm trees. But maybe you want to go for the more sleek look on your island and you'd rather just have a bunch of ficus and get rid of all the palm. That works as well. The other thing about chopping down the trees is it doesn't really seem to take any more or less swings to chop down the different trees. So the nice thing about ficus is you're getting more yield for the amount of swings. These types of resources will not respawn, just FYI. So that little trunk that I just destroyed will not respawn. The foliage doesn't respawn, and neither will these rocks. But the random stuff, I believe this random stuff here on the beaches will respawn, like these little vines. I'm not 100% positive on those. But trees and foliage and rocks do not respawn. There's a lot of big streamers out there right now that are passing around false information about trees respawning too, but we put a lot of research into it at this point, and it's just not happening. Let's see. Okay, got my 4 copper ingots. I think it wants me to build a weapon bench. Need 5 for that, so since I'm going to have to go back and get more copper anyways, the upgraded bag required, I think, exactly 4 copper. No, it only took 2. I just need to go get some hide up, get that upgraded, and then I can bring back more copper on the next run. So, here, piggy, piggy, piggy. Given a long enough a time away from them, all of the little question mark places on the map will respawn their enemies. They do not respawn the treasure chests, as we have covered earlier. But the enemies will respawn. Hasn't been long enough for this place yet, but there is 2 random pigs just kind of chilling out here. Once again, if you're going to fight multiple targets, especially if they can be flinched, keeping them lined up with each other is a good way to go. You can perfect parry multiple targets. But as you can see, I was able to hit both of them, which keeps them flinched and keeps them from attacking you separately. The weapon that you use is going to vary how effective that is. Also, for some people, The target locking system was extremely annoying in its base setup. If you have perfect finger placement and always hit the T key perfectly every single time, it's not a big deal. Me personally, I moved the target lock on to a mount. I put it on one of my mouse buttons, so I use a mouse that has more than standard 2 buttons. So I just offloaded that to my mouse. And it has made life so much easier. Early part of the game, definitely want to spend time just harvesting extra crap because you're going to need it. What are these things even used for? Is this just a sales thing? It's a common. It's probably used in some like decoration crafting, like early decoration crafting, maybe. I normally just throw them down. I've never really found a reasonable use for those shells. The other shells that you get, they look more like snails, which I don't know if that's, I guess they're actually not snails, they're clams. Those, when you open them, have a chance of dropping a pearl. So that's nice. Pearls, as you can see, also double as ammunition. So you can use the pearls in crafting. I think it's used specifically in alchemy for some stuff. And then they can also just be used as bullets, which isn't terrible in your early stages if you are trying to make gun builds or you're highly utilizing the early pistols. Stone bullets have a reduced damage, I believe. They do less damage as a negative for being a stone bullet, whereas the pearls have no inherent positives or negatives. So a pearl is slightly better than a stone bullet. Well, that was a whole lot of thunder. Yeah, hopefully I don't have any issues, but we are expecting some nasty storms this evening, so hopefully I won't have any outages here, but if I do, you guys will know what's up. Oh yeah. I think I'll wait until I upgrade my weapon before I go do that quest. That one kind of sucks. Need what? I need 2 more pigs. Here, piggy. Hey, look, more clay. Unfortunately, so this was something I was mildly disappointed about. Some of you may not care, but there are only 2 upgrades to the pick. So you have the base level pick, and then you can upgrade it twice. You can make a copper one, and then you can make an iron one. But there is no pick or axe for the 3rd resource currently. There's technically also no reason to need it, but I always like the concept of my, picks and axes and stuff will become more powerful, so they take less swings later on, as you get higher and higher. Well, a little disappointed that they didn't do an upgrade to the pick and the axe for the 3rd tier of materials, but I am assuming that will potentially be something that changes once they add ashlands and potentially further biomes. There's a whole lot of confusing information out there about this game right now as well, as far as what they had planned for the game. The only thing that we know for a fact that they have planned is ashlands, and that's simply because once you go into the window here, it's literally at the bottom, unavailable, coming soon. But there was a direct quote from one of the... It was from the development team, but it wasn't a developer. It was their, kind of like their community guy. And he posted and said that the demo that came out for the game was roughly 2.5% of the actual map. But then once we got the full map, it was actually more like 20% of the actual map. So the map is nowhere near as big as I personally would like it to be. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, there we go. So I don't think the Sal will actually attack you either. Like, I don't think they're aggressive. I could be mistaken, but they will assist. Oops. And remember, like I said, if it's a flinchable creature, which is a lot of them, there's very few creatures in the game that cannot be flinched. But if it is a flinchable creature, it is safe to get 3 attacks after a parry, because you will... the window on flinching is enough to do 3 attacks and flinch anything that they attack in that window. Going for a 4th attack can be very iffy, because the 4th attack will not flinch. It will be too long at that point. And there is a chance, depending on the attack speed of the creature, that you will not be able to get the perfect parry off before their next swing. So you just kind of have to get a feel for it on what creatures you can and can't get away with that on. But this game is very much a Souls-like in its absolute most basic concept, and that is you need to memorize the attack patterns of enemies and react accordingly. What's that? The Sals will turn and attack if you get close enough. Yeah, that with me, they generally seem to want to run away a lot. And the blue birds, just like the bigger pigs, the base level birds only do 1 attack in a chain. The blue birds can do 2 attacks in a chain. So they'll either attack you once or they'll attack twice back to back, but they don't 3 chain. And once you get used to it, the first hit that I did flinched the bird, but the 3rd hit, or the 4th hit did not flinch him, but it killed him. So I knew with that particular bird, if I just went ahead and swing again, even though he was in an attack animation, I was going to kill him and he wouldn't be able to attack back. Okay, so the Sals, when they're on their own, will run from you at first, but if you persist and chase them, they will turn and attack you. Okay, that's good to know. I did not know that they would eventually turn on you. Feathers are another one of those weird things. They need to make more of a good use for them. It's an alchemy thing, I believe. But I never really felt the need to build anything with feathers, so I normally just throw them down when I find them. Grabbing myself some more nails here, basically, so I don't have to use copper early on to make nails. You can get them from just destroying these little pieces of stuff. What do we got here? They're bluebird. Piss off, bluebird. Nobody likes you. All right. Left a house here somewhere. So yeah, I mean, that was a pretty decent amount of running around there, and I still have almost 4 minutes on my rested buff there, so decent amount of comfort in the house now. And yeah, like I said, not having the rested buff is just abysmal. hurry up and finish that level so I can get some endurance. Guess I was avoiding the bluebirds, but I guess I actually need to kill them because I need to get that trophy. Alright, should be able to... Nope, what am I missing? Oh, higher level station. Oh yeah, gotta build the upgrade to that station, and... Oh, fuck, that requires 10 ingots. Alright, so much for that plan. Guess we'll just build another chest here, dump the stuff in it, and I'll have to go back and get some more ingots. Like I said, don't forget to fill up the hole and keep that going. Yeah, I think 34 coal would be enough, but it's not. Alright, got a little window here. I've been streaming for a bit, so I'm going to run a set of commercials for Twitch real quick so it'll stop spamming people with commercials. And I'm going to run to the restroom real quick while that's going on, so I'll be back in 3 minutes. All right. Sorry about the away time there. Yeah, I think I dumped everything. So yeah, back to the mines we go. Actually, I should probably refill the lantern. Though, if you weren't familiar, some people have a problem finding this one, but if your lantern is empty, just go to the regular workbench and click refill up here, and then it's free animal fat. The unfortunate thing is it doesn't change the amount of animal fat to refill based on how much fuel you have remaining. So the most efficient way is to always completely empty it before you do the refill. That being said, I think I have like 20 stacks of animal fat in my other game that's just like I'm stacking it up way faster than I'm using it, so you probably could just do it early and not really care too much about it. No crap. Made the crabs angry. You want some, Birdie? You want some? I didn't think so. I feel like the game does have some different starting islands, though. Like, I was getting frustrated with the last place that I started the game in because it had rock mountains like this that were side by side. One of them was the cave and one of them wasn't. And I kept going to the wrong one, trying to get to the cave. And it was pissing me off. Ah, shit. So yeah, starting islands caves seem to be continuing with the streak of there are no enemies in the starting island cave. But it also seems that the starting island caves are smaller than the other caves that you'll find. The last game that we played, the island that I ended up landing on had a copper cave in it that had 3 floors, so it was a massive cave. Also, it had shit tons of drown in it too, which was not great, but... The other thing to pay attention to when you're running around in the caves, if you're not being very observant, is sometimes you can run right past a wall that's breakable that you don't even notice, and it will open it into a larger cavern somewhere. I don't know if this cave has one of those, but some of the later caves definitely do. And that eats the stamina. Yes, and I think that's accurate. The starting cave does give more stone than any of the other caves. It has a lot more stone nodes than copper nodes. I've gotten all the copper that's in this place for the most part, but might as well stack up on a little stone since I have extra space. really wish they would just make the pickaxes and stuff do little to zero damage and no ability to flinch, and just allow you to have infinite stamina while you're trying to harvest. Like, harvesting stuff based off of a lame stamina regen is kind of annoying. But yeah, I think this place is mostly clear. Might have one more little room entrance over here. Actually, this looks like this goes kind of deep in here. Yeah, the Prospector ring makes it nice, but I really don't like games that make all that stuff separate, because then you're having to eat up inventory space to carry around a Prospector ring with you all the time, because what you really want is your damage ring. They need to just have a... I mean, you got 10 fingers. They just need to make it to where you can wear 2 rings. One's a damaging ring, and one's the Prospector ring. Or make it to where you can upgrade rings to give the Prospector effect to any regular ring, since, you know, that's the... They don't directly relate. It's not necessarily making you a stronger fighter to have the Prospector ring. Just like, I don't want to carry the thing around with me and have to remember to put it on every time either. And it was very noticeable because it took forever to get a one-handed damage ring for me the last playthrough. So, yeah, having the Prospector ring for like 3/4 of the game and then taking it off, oh, it was awful. It was the most miserable thing ever. Turn my lantern back off and conserve that animal fat. That was one of the other things I didn't like about this game. It's not that I don't dislike the game over it, but it's a thing that I really wish they would change, which is there is no upgrade to the lantern, and the lantern has a horrendous fuel life. So it's like they need to make an upgrade to it that lasts like 2 or 3 times as long or something like that, because I mean, it's... Most of the game, it's more of an aesthetic thing, because really the only place that you run into needing a lantern is pretty much just in a cave. And like, it doesn't really... It's not like the cave is harder because you can't see, it's just annoying. So it's like, yeah, just... I mean, at the end of the day, just give us another... give us an upgrade to the lantern, or just simply make the lantern to where it doesn't lose stuff as fast just from the beginning. Yeah, well, for you, the crude damage ring was good because you were, I mean, very early on, you were using things that gave crude damage, but for me, it was a worthless ring. There we go, 40 iron, and that just goes to prove how much, why I say keep filling up the coal and making more coal. I just crafted 40 of those, and the reason I can't craft more is because I'm out of freaking coal. What was the name of the Adam Sandler movie that where he inherited like a shit ton of money from his rich dad? And well, I guess technically he inherited the company that his rich dad owned. I'm completely blanking on that for some reason. Mr. Deeds, that's what it is. There is a scene in there where, if you've seen the movie, you know the butler, you underestimate my sneakiness, the very common meme. But you find out later on at some point that the butler is actually Mr. Deeds' I guess technically half brother, and that he's the one that's the actual heir to the money. But there's a really funny thing where, so it turns out that the guy that was the butler, his mom was the maid. So like the Adam Sandler's movie dad was diddling the maid and had a kid. And there was a scene where they were talking about the two, like he was showing them, and the maid was kind of like flirting with the dad, and the dad was kind of like flirting with the maid. And it was just this funny exchange of words about the dad's ficus tree in his office, about polishing the leaves on the ficus tree. I just think about that scene every time, cutting down a ficus tree. Makes me think about Mr. Deeds. Pretty funny. You had to be there. You had to be there. That's what it was. Wow, that tree was doing the spin there. All right, do we have any new decorations to build yet? Probably not. Oh wait, I just need to go craft some rope real quick and I can get one more on there. Build rope. And put down one of these things. Fishing barrel. There we go. Level 9 comfort. Well on the way. Alright. There's the new... Oh, wait. I needed 10, didn't I? Yep. Now summon one of these. There we go. So that will let me build the upgrade to the basic bench. Stick it behind there for now, which will allow me to make the upgraded backpack, but I need one more piece of metal for that. And there it is. Oh, finally some more space. One thing you should be very careful about if you haven't played the game before is when you upgrade the bag, it will... as you can see, the new bag requires the old bag as a component. And when you craft the new bag, it sticks it down here, which means you lost the old bag, which means it takes away 4 of your inventory slots. If you had things in those inventory slots, it will sling them out of your inventory as though you had dropped them. So be sure you pick those back up. To start organizing this stuff soon. Running out of space. All right, now what do I need for the weapons table? I need 5 ingots and 10 wood. Now, while we're waiting on the ingots to finish cooking, I'll go grab some more wood. I know it's a minor thing, but I like cutting up all the broken trunks and stuff like that are on the ground around the base, because I frequently find when I'm fighting, if there is something on the ground that I can get stuck on, I will find it in the middle of combat. So I just tend to try to get rid of those things, so I don't find them in Gotham. And there's some weird things about how trees work. Falling trees will damage you, but not always. If you can get right underneath of it when it's falling, sometimes it'll just hit your head and bounce off, like it just flops over you. But then other times it'll actually do a little damage. It's just weird how that works. I think part of it is if you chop the tree and you stand still and it falls on you, it won't damage you. But if you move and then it hits you, then you take damage. Could be completely off, totally conjecture at this point, but all right, we got 6. That is enough to build the table. And then I'll need an additional 6. Wait. Yeah, I'll need an additional 6 to make another weapon. Can't make a rapier at the moment, so I guess while we're waiting on that stuff to cook, we'll go out and do some more question marks and see if I can find a green weapon. I think I still need chest and pants for armor. Maybe I should check and see if I can upgrade those real quick. And I need food. Making some food would be a good idea. So I like, generally my really early game stuff, I'll use bacon and eggs because it gives you 5 vitality. And then I'll usually use dodo broth. It doesn't give an extra buff, but it does last 15 minutes and it's very cheap to make. Depending on the weapon type, you can flop around and find some stuff. You have early access to strength, so you can just do the cayenne peppers with some crab and get 5 strength off of skewered crab. Or if you want to go a little bit more expensive, then you can do the spicy kebab and get 10 strength out of it. However, the only weapon I have access to currently is based off of agility, which doesn't do a lot for me. So get some of that, get some, I'll do some dodo broth, and then I can put these coconuts away. And where do we have some more question marks? I got 2 more left on this island. The falling trees can, sometimes they can do significant damage if the trunk is spinning. That is very accurate. They basically turn into a trap that should be in one of the dungeons. For the most part, the game seems to run pretty smooth if you haven't got a chance to play the game yet. I am running a 4090 Super graphics card, so I don't know what the 3000 or 2000 series would be like. I definitely know when I first booted the game up, I was having some graphical issues and the system was not running very smoothly at all. But I did go and update the graphics drivers, and that completely solved all of the problems. Okay. And I'm starting to make a lot of friends now, and my stamina is lower than what I want it to be. All right, we're back down to a more normal number now. Good grief. So I feel like I'm playing Zelda and I just pissed off a bunch of chickens. I kicked one chicken too much and 50 chickens came out of nowhere. Well, some of these ruins are a little nice. You get just a bunch of chickens living in here, but then that also means there's a whole bunch of eggs in here too. One thing that was interesting that I noticed the other day, I don't know if it was a bug that happened or not, but my wife was playing the game and she's got I think her character model is slightly shorter than what I have. And she was able to just walk through these vines, which is weird. Made some more friends. Come on, chicken little. So yeah, there's a lot of people that just kind of want to come in and hack and slash on the game, and this just isn't the kind of game that is designed to do that. You don't have to do a whole lot extra. I mean, you can be pretty minimalist. You know, some people are like, oh my god, you got to block constantly and you got to do all this dodging and stuff like that. Most of the time you can just run away for a second or two and then swing a couple more times and then run away and then swing. Not everybody likes playing that way though. Like, a lot of people like the concept of like, hey, I'm in combat, I just want to stay here and keep blasting until the thing's dead. Unfortunately, this game doesn't support that play style. These are interesting concepts. Like, so this little cellar here, so anytime you see a cellar in a place, it's always going to have one of your chests in it if it's something you have to press E to enter. You will run into some cellars later in the game that require you to have a rope to be able to descend, so that's one reason why it's nice that you can build this crafting table. Sorry, not that crafting table. This crafting table without having to have a bonfire, because this is where you create rope. The multiplayer game that we were playing on a server, most of the places that had a requirement of a rope, somebody had built a crafting table right next to it, so you could just quickly build a rope. But these do introduce a little bit more of a tight fighting area that can make combat annoying. The drown aren't too bad. This one has 2 drown in it, but their combat style is pretty simple and they are flinchable. Ow, but that one hit me with a rock. So the rocks are really annoying. I'm not a fan of the rock throwing whatsoever. And as you can tell, I also let my food buff wear off. I probably would not have died there if I'd had both food going. That's honestly that's probably the biggest problem that I have with the food buff currently is 2 things that they need to fix with the food buff. They need to make it to where you can't accidentally eat food if it's not going to do anything significant for you. So currently, like, I could put this food here in the number 7 slot and I could just hit number 7 a few times and eat all 4 pieces of that food. But it's not going to do anything extra. It doesn't give me extra time. In addition to the base level of time, it will refill to the base level of time. So if you eat a piece of 15-minute food and it's been 1 minute and you eat the exact same kind of food again, it will fill you back up to 15, but it won't take you to 29, for example. So I think it would be nice if you ate multiple pieces of food, if it would give you multiples of the food buff, for one. Because to be honest, the majority of the times that I die at this point is because I didn't notice my food buff ran out and I took a hit that I expected to be able to live through. And then I die because I've got no food buff. So I would like to see where you can't eat food unless the duration remaining is 10% or less of the remaining time. The other thing that I would like to see is in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you've got 2 little food icons down there with a bar under them telling you that, it's like, oh, this is how much time you have with food. But especially once you get later into the game where where the food lasts for 30 minutes, you just don't think about it regularly. And so you don't even look down there, and then your food's just gone and you don't catch it. I really wish they would put something, like immediately above your action bars or more in the center of your screen that's like a nice, big, very flashy, obvious warning message that your food is about to wear off or has completely worn off. One of the two, I'd be fine with either one. So a couple of things with the drowned. When they throw rocks, you can use body blocking. They can't throw a rock through another drown. So if they're close to each other, you can just line them up, and if the back one throws a rock, it'll just hit the front one. It doesn't do much to them, but it will at least hit them and not hit you. All right, I got one more place. It's a relatively small starting island. I feel like the one on the server that we were running was much larger. Well, much more places to go explore, I should say. Yeah, I can make health pots now. Wonderful. I do suggest grabbing the crabs whenever you find them because they are decent for a little bit of food. Not a big ordeal. So these are funny. If you're unfamiliar with them, when you press the M key, or wait, it wasn't M, what was it? Maybe I have to be on a boat before it'll show it. No, it's here. I'm guessing it's not showing it because I didn't complete this one yet, but right here, this will tell you coastal jungle, unique locations explored. That's all the question marks. So there's 32 question marks to do in coastal jungle islands. These are not considered a coastal jungle island question mark. It's one of the explorers. So it will show up as a different list, and it's always these tent things. And they always have the same buried treasure. So when I interacted with this box, I got a homeward journey, and then I also got a curio, which is this piece of text. If you read the text, that tells you how to find the treasure. Sometimes it's specific, and it'll say, hey, I buried it next to the tree with the red cloth on it on the south side. I think the starting one always tells you exactly where. I don't know if the later ones tell you on which side of the tree, but we're going to test this one and see if it is south side. One thing to remember about the enemies as well is I don't know if they do extra damage, but the 1-star and 2-star enemies, they definitely have more health. I think that is the massive difference, is just the amount of health that they have. And maybe the number of poise shields that they have. Accidentally swing one too many times there. That's the other leading cause of death for me, is not following the 3-1 rule for fighting enemies for flinching and non-flinching. Sometimes I'll accidentally hit a 4th attack and then I'll get smacked over it. Is not great. He's coming this way. So if you let these guys run for a second, they will frequently split off from their friends, and then you can get them solo. And yeah, that Sal definitely attacked me, so... So yeah, let's see if it actually did the south side this time, so. This is this. Oh, yeah, it's not going to help any because I don't have a freaking shovel. I forgot that you had one of those on the first island and had need a shovel for it. Didn't even cross my mind even when I saw it. That's also another one of those things. It's like the shovel cannot be upgraded in any way. It never gets any better. It never gets any worse. The shovel should just be a thing that you just have. Like you should have a special button on the keyboard that you hit that just gets your shovel out, and then you use it to dig things with. The fact that they made it a completely separate item that then takes up an inventory slot and a hotkey slot is rather annoying. Because there's just not enough. You just don't do anything with a shovel other than dig. I mean, arguably it can be used as a weapon, but yeah. So, I'll run back over and build a shovel. I think the shovel actually takes metal. And I don't believe I have any on me. Oh, I've got one on me. I wonder if... Probably not, but... Oh, I'm sure it probably takes a level 2 building. It does. Yeah, I think upgrading the shovel would be nice, especially for, like, that's one of the things that I didn't like about the terraforming in the game was the shovel has a pretty small radius for terraforming. So that would be something that would be nice, is upgrading the shovel gave you a bigger circle to be able to terraform with. I think that would be a nice thing for them to do. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this playthrough, and then I may do another playthrough using only the fish. I'll have to see how the fish plays, but... Unfortunately, to do that, I will have to use a pre-existing character that I take into another game, because it takes a while to get to the point of being able to get the fish. But a fish playthrough is in my future. Yeah. Overall, I really do enjoy the game. If I had creative rights, there are definitely some things that I would do a little differently. But the basic concept of the game, I wouldn't make any changes. I still think multi-target combat is lacking. Like, it's just annoying to deal with in a lot of cases, especially if you have a lot of ranged enemies at the same time. I just don't like the way that feels, but... And then also the placement of enemy ships. Oh, crap. Man of stamina. I don't like how, like, every time you find enemy ships, they're always in packs of like 2 or 3 or 4. It's never just, almost never just a solo ship that you can just do regular one-on-one combat with. And generally the packs of like 4 ships are so tight together that when you start combat with one pack of 4 ships, one of them will run away and aggro another group. And then it's like, okay, this is getting annoying. Where do those pigs go? Pigs just kind of like... Oh, they're there. There's one of them anyways. I'm sure his friend will show up when I attack him. No, no friend. Friendless pig. They parted ways. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll have a lot of people will, when you say you're doing a fresh playthrough or something like that, frown upon the concept of getting into another game to get access to something. But I think if I just said it's a fish playthrough, then people will understand. Well, Nell could actually be getting off of work soon, if she's not already. Can't remember if she said she was staying until the hour or half past, but... Throw down some random crap. Oh wait, get rid of those feathers, don't need that crap. You can get me a fish, that's good. It's good to know, it's good to know. My intention is to do a rapier playthrough this time, see what I think about it. And I'll probably do a fish on the next playthrough. That's kind of the problem that I have with the game right now. I'm hoping that this is just because it's early access and, you know, the game is completely unfinished. But there is absolutely nothing to chase in this game. So once you've completed the storyline, there is no reason to really continue playing. As opposed to like Ark Survival, they didn't even really have a storyline, but for most people that game was just all about collecting new and different types of dinosaurs. This game doesn't have anything like that at all, so the only thing that you're really chasing is like, oh, well, I want to get to the next biome so I can get all the new stuff, and when you run out of biomes, you run out of storyline, and there's just not much point to continue. But doing multiple playthroughs, on the other hand, is very viable. Yeah, I don't know. Just building in a game, I have the same problem with Minecraft. Building is cool, but I get bored of it. Like, I need there to be something else going on in the game other than just building. It's like building in Ark was really cool because generally it was building out of necessity. It's like, oh, well, I built a base. But then I went out and collected 20 new dinosaurs, and they're literally squeezing through windows in my house, so now I need to build a bigger house. Or, you know, back in the old days when you had to have egg farms, you know, because you needed to make kibble out of a specific egg for a specific type of dinosaur that you were trying to do. So you had these massive farms of dinos. It's like, it made more sense then, but being in this, it's like there's no real necessity for building new stuff once you finish the content. I don't have that drive. I mean, and that's a me thing. I mean, I'm sure other people will, you know, would have no problems with continuing to play and want to build and all that kind of stuff. I just don't get into it as much. So for me, I really think the concept of the pirates that work in your base, those should not be something that you rent essentially from one of the towns. You should find those pirates when you're fighting pirate ships and boarding them. Once you kill the X amount of pirates you're supposed to have killed, and the ones that are still there surrender, there should be random chances that they would come and join you, and that's how you get your NPCs that work your stations and stuff. And there should be various kinds of them of various rarities. That would give you something to chase. also having the crew on your ship, instead of just like you either have a crew or you don't, there's 7 dudes in the crew. Those should be 7 unique NPCs, and the first ones that you get are just basic ones. But once again, when you're fighting pirate ships, you can you could find new crewmen that are like, oh, they give you 5% increased reload on cannons, or they make the cannons slightly more powerful, or they can aim faster, or they can make your ship turn faster, or sail a little faster, or stop a little faster. Just various little tweaks that they could do, and to give you something to chase is mostly what I would like to see. So I hope that, like I said, I hope that's something that they add as time continues to go on, but who knows? Well, I think I actually have to craft a weapon for the quest line anyways, so even if I'd found a green weapon, and that sucked because I didn't want to build that one. So yeah, we'll get that, and now I really need to build that stupid thing to break stuff down, because, yeah, wait. Does that have to be in a building? Nope, it just has to be in bonfire range. We'll stick it outside. All right, broken blade. We can get rid of that. Get some nails out of it. I don't care about a strength necklace. We can break that down. We have to get the halberd out of the box. Or no, wait. Where did the halberd go? Okay. Oh, there it goes. I get a little extra free cloth out of breaking down that old crap. And break down the halberd and get some of that metal back. But I have my 2 pieces that are still laying on the ground here. Break those down for a little more cloth. But I did not get any extra leather, so I'm not going to be able to do much with that for the moment. It's also kind of the other unfortunate thing about the beginning of the game is you spend a whole lot of time. Oh, that's what I did. I looked at the wrong table. I looked at the armor table. Good catch. You spend so much time killing boars at the beginning because it's literally your only access to leather, and you need so much of it. Oh, yeah. And be very careful when breaking things down because there are no takesy-backsies. If you break an item, it's broken. And it only gives you a refund of the original crafting costs. So if you have a piece of gear that you crafted at level 1 and leveled it all the way up to 15, yeah, if you blow it up, you lost all those upgrade mats. You just get the original crafting costs back out of it. I think it's a little annoying. I would be fine with them not giving you all the upgrade materials back, but it would be nice if you got something more back out of it. That would also help with some of the issues of where later resources like the hardwood are in limited supply. If you're playing on a server, being able to break down stuff would be super, super helpful to get the hardwood back. And usually, if you parry the enemy's attacks, I don't know if this is built up into the game to be designed this way, but if you get the perfect parry off, that is generally enough to reset the flinch timer. So even if they only attack one time, if you successfully parry that attack, then if you start laying into them with a 3-hit combo, they can be flinched right after the parry. But if you don't have a parry, it's a little closer to about 5 seconds of waiting before they can be flinched again. Alright, this is probably going to be an annoying fight, but that's what the food's for, right? Alright, so somewhere around in here should be a treasure that's buried. I'm gonna go with right here in the middle of these skeletons. God damn it. You remember 20 minutes ago when I was like, hey, I'm gonna run back to the base and build a shovel? Yeah. Well. Oh, there's some good food. I need to find the piercing damage food, or piercing stat food. 'Cause that's one thing, I want to use the pistol a little bit more this time around, which is also one of the reasons that I want to do the rapier, because they're both pierce damage, so one stat improves the damage of both. Oh, I need the table outside. One shovel. Got some taters. It's funny, YouTube's actually been kind of popping off tonight on people watching. Usually I don't get a whole lot of viewers from YouTube. Yeah, I think precision food is probably the second biome. That's probably accurate. Wait a minute. Is that a 90 gun also? It is. I need to build a better gun. I also don't like how the shovel is not a weapon that should be intended as a shovel. When you first get it out, it shouldn't be on the weapon setting, in my opinion. Like, I want to dig with this. Oh, hey, look at that. First dig. Okay, run around like a little girl for a few moments here. Oh god, don't run at me. You gotta be careful about how you watch here. You can't get too far away from this treasure chest, or they will reset. Ah. I need to hurry up and get one of these stupid things dead so they'll stop. So they'll stop throwing so many rocks. I saw him throwing out of the corner of my eye. I could not dodge fast enough. I'm so back and forth about this whole lock-on thing. The lock-on is really, really annoying sometimes. It's like it makes certain types of combat much better, like especially rapier combat will be way easier with lock on because it's more of a straight line attack instead of a slashing. But yeah, I mean the way that your camera just gets completely fucked when you're locked on. I kind of wish I think this is probably the problem that I'm having. I wish the lock-on forced your character to always face the enemy. It did not force your camera to always face the enemy. I think that's where my disconnect with lock-on is coming from. Like, I think that's the thing that it's missing that's driving me nuts. But I've been trying to figure out for a while exactly what it is about lock-on that I don't like. This is also slightly easier when you don't have as much debris in the way. Okay, got the food done. Oh, you son of a bitch. That one did a triple attack, of course. I gotta go reset these stupid things. Almost nothing will triple attack on the first island, except those. Also with bandages, bandages an overtime thing, but it's basically a complete heal. I think no matter what, the ticks are percentage based, so as long as all of the ticks go off, it will always fill your health. I don't think I've experienced a position where that was not accurate. Yeah, like I said, once you get far enough away, it resets all the enemies. And we get to do it again. But yeah, like this is way too much multi-target combat in my opinion. This is when it starts to get annoying. Is when it's like I get throwing stuff at me that's not even, my camera's not even facing the right way to see the stuff coming in at me, and it's just, maybe if they put some sort of marker on the edge of your screen when an enemy was going to throw something at you, maybe that would be better. Alright. Got one down early this time. Cornmeal for precision foods. Yeah, that makes sense. There we go. Some XP. Got some gold coins that I don't have a use for yet. Some silver bars that... I think it's funny that they give you silver bars this early. That it's used in making jewelry. Which I think you basically don't get jewelry until pretty much the end of the second area. Like you don't get the ability to really do much with it. And for me, it was even worse because I couldn't get any jewelry that I actually wanted. So that was a thing too. I'm gonna go back and get the chest. Go back and see if the south side of the tree is correct or not. And that storm is going nuts outside right now. Now, if you're not on the way home already, when you come in, just the deadbolt is locked. so many other games, I'm used to the resources like disappearing if you don't go pick them up quick enough. So every time one of them flies out, I always feel I need to go pick it up, but I should just clear all this crap first and then pick up the resources. I was also out of that level. 75 points. So probably not enough before leaving the first area. Actually, it wants me to upgrade the weapon. That and getting this last question mark over here might be enough. And then I can get some stamina. This holy crap, stamina. Always kill pigs when you see them. The rough hide is used for the first two types of leather. Rough hide is the baseline, and then you use rough hide with another thing to make the fine leathers for the tier 2 upgrades. So you need lots and lots of it. Savage boars are, of course, the best source, but they're also the meanest of the boars, so... bricks. Alright, super low health. Let's see if the bandage will cap me off still. Oh yeah, way more than enough. Yeah, even with the first saber, you can kill the regular dodos without having to stop. You just do 4 swings in a row and kill them. What, no pigs? What happened? Oh, nope, there's one. And always be very careful about that whole concept of like, oh, he's just got a sliver of health. I just hit him one time and he'll die. You always seem to fail getting the timing off when you do that, and you hit each other at the same time, and then it'll end up killing you as well. Or the worst case scenario, his attack will actually hit first and you die and he doesn't. So for those of you that have been following, I am still doing WoW, still raid leading for the WoW team. I don't think I've streamed the past 2 weeks worth of raids. Just been dealing with a lot of issues and just haven't been super interested in streaming the WoW stuff. But I'll be back to streaming it tomorrow. And currently the plan for this game is I'll stream however long I'm going to stream for this evening. It may end up getting cut a little short with the severity of the storm going on outside, but tomorrow I will do the WoW stream, and then when that is over, I will come back to this game. So WoW generally only lasts... honestly, tomorrow's probably is only going to last about 45 minutes. So I'm only doing the 25-man content tomorrow. I'm not doing the 10-man content. So with that being the case, that will be a very short raid night. Also, the other thing, if a creature is flinchable, when it gets knocked onto the ground from basically the daze component, they are flinchable again the moment that they stand up. So generally, your combo is a 5-hit combo with the saber. I normally only do 3 attacks with it, but when you knock them down, I will finish the entire hit combo. Because even when they stand back up, they stand up in a flinchable state. So you can flinch their very first attack. So that allows you to get your 3. You would be able to get 3 attacks off at that point in your chain, but you generally only have 2 swings left because your first 3 will hit while it's on the ground. So you can finish up your chain and it works fine. That's something else I kind of wish they would do as well. I kind of wish they'd give you some risk versus reward. That if they're going to do a more difficult combat system, that they also make it a little more lucrative, to where the later hits in a combo do more damage than the earlier hits. So it makes you want to try to sneak in those extra attacks. So we got a few boars killed. I should be able to upgrade my armor, and that was also another thing, like that undead fight that I did over there. I actually didn't want to do that until I had upgraded my armor some, and I completely forgot. And that would have made that a little less annoying, as I think those guys were like level 3s. So I was taking significant extra damage from them by having level 1 gear. And may not be as big of a deal for this playthrough, but if you're using sabers, yeah, make sure that you've got, anytime you see potatoes, you pick them up, because, yeah, that's your agility food. It uses a lot of potatoes. A lot of other foods use it as well, so it's one to keep a lot of access to until you can start farming. And I highly suggest keeping all the seeds that you can get in early game, because when you do planting, you will get the seeds back every time you harvest the resource. You'll get the seeds back. Though, to be fair, I think that's something that they should change as well. I don't like how you don't get access to farming until you're in the second area. All right. Where's that tree with the freaking rope or cloth on it? Here it is. So here's the tree. Here's the south side. So we'll see if this one's still on the south. I didn't feel like reading the crap. But, I mean, worst case scenario, you just dig a circle around the thing. So yeah, wasn't on the south side this time, it looks like. So at this point, you just dig a circle around the tree, and when you see the sparklies, then that's where it's at. But the tree is always going to be a dead tree. You can't chop it down, and it's got that red like scarf tied around it. Every time you find one of these camps, one of these trees will be nearby, and it will have a treasure chest buried near the roots. Every time. Another one of those things that I kind of hope they change as the game continues on. Like have different clues where you, there it is. Have different clues where it's actually in different locations, like maybe not always a standing tree, maybe sometimes a tree that's already laying on the ground. These great healing potions you can't craft until basically the end of the current game, so always save those for boss fights. Because you can, until much later, you can only replenish them by finding them in boxes. All right. Got that done. Go back to base. Upgrade my weapon. Oh, crap. What I meant? Oh. Don't throw something at me and we'll be fine. I'll go back and upgrade the weapon. That should give me another 50 points for the quest, which should give me my first level. Oh, my rested bonus wore off. Slow stamina regen. Actually, I don't know if it wore off. I think it was when I died. I just forgot to stay in the base long enough to get it to reapply. That is one great thing that this game has over Enshrouded. If you're familiar with the rested bonus system, is in Enshrouded, if you die anywhere, you lose your rested bonus and you have to go back to the base that has the best bonus that you have created in order to get that bonus back. In this game, you just have to get on your ship. I don't think the dinghy will work. It has to be the full-blown ship, but that will give you the rested bonus of your highest comfort level base that you have created, which is really, really nice. Especially considering the fact you can just summon your ship to you at any point you really need it. I have other arguments about the summoning and constant teleporting system, but yeah. Well, that's another thing too. When you talk to Galen, he's got a little option here for, do you have anything for me? Periodically, it's probably like every 10 or 15 minutes or every half an hour or something like that, you can talk to him and he'll give you a healing potion. It's always the smallest one. I've never seen him give anything else. And he'll just say not right now if it's been too recent. All right, so did that. Let's upgrade the weapon now because I have plenty of leathers, and boom, level up. So the first time around playing this, I did an even split between vitality and endurance. I think at first I'm just going to throw a bunch of points into endurance because the vitality, now that I know how to block and fight the enemies better, having extra health isn't going to be that beneficial. And the amount of health you get per vitality point isn't like super insane. So yeah, we got that. I got a few. Yeah, I got enough actually, I think, to upgrade each piece of armor one time. Oh no, I forgot. The pants take, or the shirt takes 3 leather. Need one more piece of leather. Have anything to drop off? Probably. Yeah. Here, piggy piggy. We'll get this last piece of gear upgraded, and then I'll go over to the other island and get the Get the ship quest started. Oh, cool. This place respawned. Rise, Biggie. There we go. Definitely getting some boar heads from those guys, which is good. So once I get the 40 kills, which honestly I should be moving along with that pretty well. I'm not close to like halfway here. Oh yeah, 30 of 40. Well, that'll be another point of comfort. Need to make it a point to kill more of these blue chickens. I keep forgetting about those guys. You only need 20 of them, but then I also need to get a head to drop. And yeah, use the terrain to your advantage, like you guys saw there when trees are this close together. If you got something chasing you, you can step through it, and sometimes they'll get caught on the geometry and just sit there and run. So you can just kind of hack at them and they can't do much to you. Kind of a cheesy little thing to do, but yeah, it's in the game, so gonna use it. In a lot of cases, I will usually advise against using the leap attack with the saber. I can't remember if all the other weapons have a leap attack thing or not. But shift and left click will cause you to leap and attack. It's basically the same speed as a regular slash. So it needs to be faster, in my opinion. It is a little bit of a distance, like a gap closer. But if something has a bigger hit range, they will start swinging, and you can't perfect parry while you're flying through the air. So I think they need to make the animation for that about twice as fast as what it is to make it useful. Let's see. I don't see any more bluebirds, and I think I just got my... Yeah. No. Still need... No. Yeah, I just did kill that boar, so that should be the piece of leather that I needed. There's a bluebird. These guys drop anything useful? Thought I could kill him, but it didn't happen. Just a little crab meat, not all that beneficial. Undead guy over there, I don't really want to mess with him. The earlier part of the game, they're just more annoying than they are worth dealing with. No more bluebird. Honestly, the crabs are kind of pointless to deal with as well, unless you want the crab meat for something. And they'll drop occasionally I'll get a pearl out of them, it looks like. I don't know how regular that is, but one more round of ammunition. Actually, I should see if I can... I don't think I can even craft a better gun yet. Switch those around. Be used to the axe being number 3. I keep hitting the wrong button. Usually if you hit a crab a couple of times and then do one perfect parry, it'll knock him over. They're pretty easy to finish off after that. I think the 1 and 2 star ones are a little more annoying because I think they actually do have more shields, so you have to do more poise damage to knock them down. Yeah, undead essences, they will drop those occasionally, though these don't seem to be cooperating much with that. There's one. I killed like 4 crabs and got 1 essence. It's unfortunate. All right. Oh, that's right. It's going to upgrade the chest piece, I believe. All right, so everything's at level 2 now. So level 2 stuff should hurt a little less. Weapons, no guns. So can't make still just running off the level or the 90 attack gun. Need another chest. I'm gonna keep those right now. There we go. Let's see, do we have the quest markers? Yeah. So, time to go look for a boat. But before that, I'm going to take a small little break here, run some commercials for Twitch. I'll be back in about 3 minutes. All right, and we're back. I forgot that I had that I got a early bell. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and craft the fast travel point. So fast travel points, you get 10 of them. You can place them pretty much anywhere you want as long as it's on the edge of a body of water. And you can freely teleport between them, and it takes everything with you. There's no restrictions. Once you have a ship, you can teleport to any bell from your ship. This also counts the, surprisingly, the dinghy. So when you summon the small ship, you have to be actually in it and steering it, but you can open a map and go, oh look, teleport spot, and poof, I'm there. Granted, that was just like 10 feet away, but yeah, brings your boat with you. So when you're driving the boat, whether it's the small one or any of the various types of ships, you can teleport, and it will bring the ship with you if you're driving it. Otherwise, you can't teleport if you're not driving. There are some safety features for that if you're playing with other people or on a dedicated server. You can see, where are we going? I'll talk about this while I'm sailing. All right. Looks like it's roughly that away-ish. I don't want to go out there and get that loot. Yeah, I think we're gonna try to sneak over here and get this green drop. Call it a green drop because of Ark Survival, but yeah. Lost my train of thought on what it was I was going to talk about. But I'm going to go and get this dropped here, and then I guess I can just kind of turn that way and tag that other one while I'm at it. And that'll head us towards the quest objective, which is finding a suitable boat to rebuild. That is kind of the unfortunate part about this being a game where you what's the word I'm looking for? About it being a game where you have a quest system is the fact that the quests. Shit. I forgot when you're. Oh wow. Oh no. It didn't actually do any damage or anything. I forgot when you're on the dinghy, you have to actually let go of it to loot those things. When you're in the actual ship, you can loot them just by passing them. So I accidentally forgot about that. I don't think there's any limit to where you can sail the dinghy to. I've been really, really deep out in the ocean with it, and there's no like, oh hey, your dinghy is too small to be in this crazy of water, so you're gonna sink. I haven't run into anything like that, so I think you can sail around the world in a dinghy if you like. Oh yeah, server fast travel. That is what I was talking about. So the fast travel system, you can have multiple bells all over the place. You can freely transfer through them. When you're doing it with people in a server, if you're on your ship, for one, anyone can pilot your ship, but whoever is driving, if they are on the ship and they teleport, if anyone else is on the ship will stay there. So it will teleport the driver to the location they wanted to go to, but the ship will not go with them. And then the second person that is on the ship can take over driving and then teleport. And if they are the last person on the ship, it will teleport the whole ship when they teleport as well, even if it is not their ship. But yeah, because that, you also cannot summon your own ship when someone else is on it. So it can allow for people to hijack your ship. And mostly your friends, of course, but... So yeah, I think from a single player aspect, I think the game has a whole lot to offer. There's a lot of really neat things with it. But take the dinghy out to the blockade. Yeah, I may do that actually at some point. See what happens. I'm actually not really for sure what happens when you hit the blockade in general. I guess it just starts damaging you. I don't know if it actually is doing like random cannon fire that is being launched from no direct target or something. But seeing as how the dinghy doesn't seem to be able to be the target of cannons, like they can shoot at you, but I've never had them successfully hit. I kind of wonder if it will do anything. Oh, hey. Got a few silver coins and some steel nails. That I was a little disappointed with the steel nails because you have regular copper nails. And I was like, oh, cool, steel nails will be used in the next, upgrade tier, and you'll be able to craft them. Yeah, you never gain the ability to craft steel nails. You only get them out of flotsam and maybe from killing enemy ships and a couple of little chests here and there, but the primary way to get them is through flotsam. And yeah, it's the only way you can craft repair kits for your boats. Granted, one of the things that we've noticed is you will be swimming in repair kits if you are even halfway decent at ship combat. You get far more repair kits than what it takes to survive the ship combat. So unless you are just completely having your ship sink every time you get into combat, then yeah, you probably will never have to craft repair kits. I think that's one thing I would like to see. I personally would like to see them remove ship repair kits completely from the game and make it to where you can only repair your ship at a dock, which would give you a reason to have multiple docks in the game, but then also reduce the number of ships that you fight against while you're out in the world, because trying to take on, 4, 8, or 12 ships at the same time with no repair kits would be suicide. I think this island here is the quest island, but stop it. Put the rest of this random loot out here. A couple of other things that are mildly annoying about the server system, which is, like I said, with it, they originally were creating this game based on it being like more MMO style based, and it was going to be a lot of PvP and things like that, and then they kind of switched it at the last end to make the game cooperative, but I don't think they really understand very well what makes games fun cooperatively, and it makes for some weird things in multiplayer, like the fact that people can hijack your ship. So it's like, if I create the ship, it should belong to me, and no one else should be able to take it over and sail it. Like, it should be my ship. They did finally make it to where you can do things on other people's ships. So you can take over like a cannon bank and fire the cannons if you're like doing 2-player ship combat or something like that. But it doesn't really give any serious benefit unless the person that is driving the ship is just mildly bad at the game. So having someone manning the cannon doesn't make it faster. It doesn't make it do more damage. It doesn't make it reload faster. Like, there's no benefit to having a person individually manning a cannon bank versus the driver just doing it all. So I think it would be nice if it was a player manned ship, if you did more damage, faster reloads. Like, maybe they have like a quick reload, like a quick time reload event that like reactive reloading, like the Gears of War versions of games have for reloading, where it's like, oh, like if you're manually doing the firing, you have to hit a button to reload, and then it puts up a little bar, and if you click right when the bar is in the perfect location, then you reload a little faster, and if you don't, then you reload a little slower. Just something to make having multiple people using the same ship more beneficial, because at the end of the day, it is far more beneficial to have 2 players manning 2 separate ships, because then you have twice the health bar and you have twice the firepower. So it's actually a pretty big negative to have somebody running around on your ship with you. But not necessarily everyone likes the sailing in the game. So it's like they need to implement some sort of a benefit for having other people manning your, like helping man your ship. Also, the game is very limited in the concept. Oh, that's right. That was the last upgrade thing, was the Misty Orchids. That was the last big question mark. But playing other games like Sea of Thieves, I still think Sea of Thieves is one of the best pirate games that are out there, just simply because of the naval combat and the way the ship is run. The fact that you actually have to like raise and lower sails and tighten things down and change the direction of the sails constantly. And the person driving the ship only drives the ship. They turn the wheel, so they're changing the rudder. That's it. You have to have people manning the sails to make sure that the sails are always turned in the correct direction to get the most out of the sails, which is kind of lost a little bit in this game. Even in Sea of Thieves, there's no need to do tacking and for those of you that are unfamiliar with tacking, it is the concept of in a real ship run with sails, you cannot sail directly into the wind because that would just make you go backwards. So the concept of tacking is essentially changing the direction of your ship to go at an angle to the wind so you can still get forward momentum, and then so that you keep traveling in a general direction every so often, you have to reflect your direction over the point of origin so that you're facing roughly equally the same distance, facing in an adjacent direction. So you're kind of the end result is you're sailing in a zigzag is essentially what you're doing, and it's extremely slow and painful. And you can do that in Sea of Thieves, but there's no reason to, because Sea of Thieves does always have a forward momentum even when you're sailing straight into the wind, but it does significantly slow you down. But you can at least go forward, and there's the speed difference that you get for tacking when you have a forward momentum is not worth actually doing the tacking. So that's not a problem that you would really run into even in Sea of Thieves. But just the concept of all of the cannons have to be individually manned in Sea of Thieves. So if there's 6 cannons, I mean, granted, Sea of Thieves, they don't have a 6 cannon option, but like in this game, we have you can have up to 32 cannons on one ship. If this was Sea of Thieves, you would have to have roughly 40, pretty close to 40 people on that ship to man it properly, because you would need one person for every cannon. And you have to manually transfer, like you keep your cannonballs in containers on your ship, and you have to manually go and get cannonballs and put them into the cannon and then launch the cannons. So there's there's a whole reload system to it and everything. And cannon shots actually make a difference. In this game, it's just, did you hit the enemy or not? If you didn't hit the enemy, nothing happens. If you did, then their health bar is lowered. In Sea of Thieves, cannonball placement makes a difference because you actually puncture a hole into the enemy ship. So you can launch 100 cannons at the enemy ship on 100 cannonballs. If all of them hit above water, you effectively have done nothing to that enemy ship because you just made random holes in places where it's not going to take on water. So in Sea of Thieves, you need to shoot at or below waterline so that the ship will start taking on water, which causes it to partially submerge more than normal. It will cause the ship to run slower because it's deeper in the water and creating essentially drag weight. And the deeper that it goes, the more holes are exposed to water, so the faster it starts to sink. That is the part about Sea of Thieves that no other pirate game has been able to recreate so far. Like, none of them have bothered even trying. And I personally think that would be amazing in a pirate game like this, where firing location of the cannonballs makes a difference. It's not just hit for damage to health and then miss is no damage to health.
Hit the water. In this one, you just X-nate the damage.
Yeah. I almost missed rule number 1 here. Always, always, always quickly build a tent when you get to a new island and save yourself there. Otherwise, you'll be like Sin and you'll die and you'll wake up on some island 1,000 miles away. Not that I have ever done that at all, ever, not even once. All right. We now have a spawn location on New Island. So at some point during building your ship, you need 20 nails, so you can either craft them and bring them with you, or you can just run around destroying these broken pieces of ship all over the beaches and collect your 20 nails that way. And that was number 18. There's 21. Wow, picked up 3 nails off of that one. But yeah, that's a really good way to get nails early on, is just breaking those things up. And it's very useful to just have those nails laying around, because you need 5 for every chest that you create. No idea where I'm at. I am currently on the island where you search for your boat. Oh no, I get it. YouTube is really, really latent on comments, so I think I misinterpreted what you were saying. Your comment about having no idea where you are is talking about having died and woken up on a random island, having no idea where you are. That makes more sense. I was very confused for a moment. Oh look, a savage boar. And I think that's a charging boar, yeah. So charging boars suck. They're the first enemy that you're going to find that has an unblockable attack. And it is designated with a red glow right before the attack happens. You must not be in the location where the attack will happen, else you will get hit. There is no blocking. Oh wait, is that a... There's a boarhead trophy on the side of that thing. I wonder if I can destroy it and take it with me. But trying to fight a savage boar and a charging boar at the same time, not going to be fun. Oh, and yeah, immediately got killed once again because of not having any food buffs. God, I hate the food system in this game so much. I have raged infinitely about the food system in Valheim, and this is only a tiny, tiny, tiny bit better than the Valheim one. Primarily because your health doesn't slowly degrade as you get closer to the end of the duration of the food. It's the only benefit this game has that Valheim does even worse. But yeah, this is a god-awful food system. I absolutely despise it. Absolutely terrible. But these are basically like boars, so they can do the double attack. Instead of just single attacking, they do have the ability to do the second attack. and then they have the unblockable attack. Generally, when they do the unblock... Oh, I made him mad, and I don't want to be here. Yeah, you can just get way high up, and if you need a little breather, don't be close to them though, because they can attack you through the wall if you get too close. But they also don't really ever seem to get less pissed off at you, so at some point you have to get down, and it will follow you. So ideally, since the big one's up there, I want to get down. Come over here and see if I can kill this guy before the big one gets to me, which is not going to happen. And there goes Kung Fu Pig. The big thing here is making sure you have stamina, because he's about to charge. Nice thing is if you dodge the charge... Oh, get out of the damn trees. Yeah, I can't get away because I can't get any stamina. So good reason to be able to get back over here and get back up on the building is I can get stamina back. And now there's 2 savage boars, and one of them is level 3. So this is the part where when people say that you should have a plan when you go into fight things and not just run in blindly, this is one of those times. So 2 of these is bad juju, so we're just gonna run away and let them reset. Yeah, I'm just gonna nope right out of that. All right, so the marker is gone. That should not be following. Bandage back up here.
Sometimes it's no problem. But when the marker's off.
Okay. Don't see the other one anymore. Okay, so these guys are unflinchable. So this is the 1 parry, 1 attack. 1 parry, 1 attack. Oop. Gotta actually get the parry off though. Usually if you can do a fairly decent job... Oh, he can charge too. That is the other thing I forgot. Savage boars can do the charge. And the savage boars do not hit the ground if they fail to charge at you. The charging boars, if they fail, they'll trip and flip over, and you can get a couple of free hits in on them. Savage boars do not suffer that penalty, so if they miss the charge, they're just immediately back into attacking you. But that should have cleared all this area out, which should be good. The storm scared him. Oh, another bell. That's good. More silver. There we go. Yeah, that bell's great. So now I can plunder all the stuff from this island without having to sail back to do it. So once you start getting multiple bells, generally the way that I would do this is I will go back out to where my ship was. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. You just go to the closest beach you can find and build yourself a bell, and then you can just run back and forth, because also where I died, my stamina buff is gone, which is very painful. Normally, I think I'll probably just build another one, but normally I like to have the bell close to the tent. That way you can save here, and then if I die again and have to revive, I can just hop through the bell and get my rested back. And we can go in here and drop all the crap off. Free up some of that inventory space. Only Monday. And then pop back over to the other side. So. Most of these other, like the diary pages and stuff like that, I don't know if they really have much use. I mean, you can read them for flavor text, but not many of the texts in the game really require you to read them. Most of the time, they just give you a quest marker. I personally think that's something they could have done to make the game more interesting, is don't spoon feed everything to you and make you have to read some shit. One-star board. So the thing about, like I was saying about the 1 and 2 star boars, it doesn't make them like a 2-star board doesn't mysteriously become unflinchable or anything like that. As far as I can tell, it is solely just the amount of health that they have. So 2-star boars have more health than a 1-star boar. 1-star boar has more health than a regular boar. That's all. Shit. What sees me? Aha. Also, the multi-star boars don't acquire any extra attacks, so like a 1-star boar isn't going to gain the ability to charge, for example. Some of these things you can click on are just flavor text. Some of them are quest related. Just varies from one to the next. There was a quest here, but it looks like I already hit that. So not a whole lot of point of having another one. Oh, there we go. There's a green quality pistol, so I can replace the pistol that I have now. And looks like it can shoot twice. Yep, it gets double the shots. So when you're using an offhand pistol, unlike most of the regular weapons in the game, like if you have just a pistol, or if you're using a blunderbuss or a rifle or something like that, there's a reload animation. If it's a one-handed pistol and you have a sword out, it'll just reload slowly over time. Guess we'll go see what this next quest marker is. Wait, what's this? Yeah, that's a lot of peppers in one spot. Wish the potatoes were as good as the peppers. Oh, so this is the kind of sad thing about the ship thing. They show you all of these different locations for where a ship could be, but the ship always looks exactly like this. And yeah. Examine the ship. Now it just wants the repair stuff to be able to fix it. So, when you have an extra bell, sometimes putting the bell here is useful. That way you can just pop back over to your base, grab all the materials that you need, pop back over here and craft it. So that's a benefit, but I did not do that. I need to collect up 100 wood. Long guns also are slowly over time. That's good. Active reload is faster than reloading over time. Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. All right, I think I'm gonna go hit that place and collect resources as I'm going. I would really like to find a rapier. Honestly, the rapier of 1,000 cuts is the one that I'm wanting to get because it's a fun rapier, but even just a green quality rapier so I can start getting used to the attack pattern would be very helpful right about now. Was this another borer place? Yes, it is. Normally with the charging boar, it will try to back up before it tries to do its dashing attack at you. So the best way to deal with them is always stay close to them and try to back them up into a corner where they can't back up. Because if they can't get far enough away from you, they won't charge. So that's just flavor text on the door, because I know this because I've done it a few times at this point. I got played through the demo 2 or 3 times before playing the actual base game. Oh, there's a rapier. There we go. Just a baseline rapier, so technically it's weaker than my saber because I had upgraded the saber once. Alright, what does the attack pattern of this look like? So it does have a slash in it, which is good. Oh wait, there was another one up there on that ledge. Is there 3? Yeah, there's 3 here. So there's one up on this ledge. And I got the one up top. Oh, there it is. Sometimes the treasures that you're collecting aren't actually a treasure chest, but a skeleton. And that's the case in this one. He's hiding right here. And he's got that wonderful torn hat, because, you know, why not?
Night streaming.
Going to bed already? Huh? Here? Didn't realize the time.
I've seen it a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Oh, bananas. Missed those. Alright. Getting pretty close to being all of the collectibles from the first island. I have, what? I got a ficus seed there. I need a palm seed. And I don't remember what those other 2 are. So one thing about the Rapier of 1,000 Cuts that a lot of people don't think about is the Rapier of 1,000 Cuts does a lot less splash damage because it puts the bleed on the target and you don't have to be around it for the bleed to do damage. Oh, crap. Okay, to be fair, it's got a little less slash in it, but it does have even the thrust has a pretty wide area hit on it. So it's really not going to be that much different from a saber. Another boar's head. All right, so I finished a quest there. No, I just progressed the quest. All right, not a fan of the Buccaneers, friend. I do like there's a quest pistol that you get that's really nice. Oh, that's what it was. I finished the Buccaneer in training. That's what it was. I think finishing that may actually even give you a head when it drops. Like when you finish it, a head will drop at the same time. Let's get some bandage going on here. Doesn't look like the rapier has any difference on flinching, so you still flinch just like a saber. What's that? No. Just need to make sure that it... Yep, it's still perfect parry. Yeah. All the same otherwise. Yeah, like I'd mentioned earlier in the stream, certain weapons don't allow for parrying. Let's see, what do we get here? Food preparations. So that's a new comfort thing. I don't know if I can really make any of them just yet, though. Seems like some of those had some pretty hefty requirements to crafting, so. But for a couple of hours, that wasn't too bad. I think I may call it there for the night. So we got over to found the ship. I have most of the resources already. I'll probably just bring most of it back with me when I get back into this tomorrow. But I will be doing this entire playthrough on stream, so I won't be doing any off-stream playing. So people that want to keep up with it, you're more than welcome. If you're catching this after the live event on YouTube, you can catch me when I'm live in the future and watch the rest of it. Feel free to ask questions if you have questions about things. Oh yeah, this was what is that? Exquamelon's treasures. So that's the tent that I was talking about. So when I dug up the treasure next to the tree with the red scarf on it, that starts those. There's 7 of those on the map, and then 32 question marks in the first biome. But yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging out and chatting tonight. It's always fun to have some people conversing in the stream. I know other guys from Twitch and the guys from YouTube can't see each other's questions, but try to repeat them when I think about it. Sometimes I just mindlessly answer the question and forget that half of you can't see that the question was asked. But I'll work on that some more in the future. But yeah, I think that was a pretty decent run for the night. Like I said, the rest of it will be on stream, so I will not have any spoilers or anything. I'm not going to farm anything outside of stream, anything like that. We'll just keep it all going on stream. Probably take a few days to beat it, I guess. I definitely know the getting the factions up is going to take a lot longer in single player, because in multiplayer, the factions... everybody that's on the server contributes to it. So if you got 4 people playing, as long as they're all playing roughly the same amount, then you're going to go through the factions 4 times as fast. Because anything that I turn in to increase rep for one of the factions does it for everyone on the server, not just for the one person that turned it in. That's one of those things that I think is a huge negative of playing on multiplayer, is a lot of things in multiplayer are things that just significantly speed up how quickly you blow through the game. And I know a lot of the attitude out there for people is just like, how quickly can I play this and move on to the next thing? Or I just want to get to the end, or I just want to get this, or I just want to get that. It's like, the fun of the game is playing the game. So, you know, like for me, so I don't want to spend, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 bucks on a game and then try to figure out the fastest way to blow through the content. It's like, if I can pay 30 bucks for a game like this and get 3,000 hours of playtime out of it, I'm super excited. I'm perfectly fine with that. So I'm already over 100 hours deep into it, starting this playthrough, and that's not even counting the demo time that I played. So I think this game has been a good purchase so far. If you haven't purchased the game, you've been on the fence about it, I think it's a great purchase. I think it's something that you should definitely check out if it's even remotely interesting to you. Don't listen to all the naysayers that complain about the combat. Is the combat frustrating? Yes. Is it frustrating more than it should be? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. So check it out if you haven't checked it out. Unfortunately, I think the demo was killed on the day the game went live. So you can't just download the demo and check it out. But if you're playing it on Steam, you definitely still have the whole, what is it, like 2 hours of play or 14 days. As long as you don't cross over either one of those thresholds, then you can refund it. But it's a good game, and hopefully it will just continue to get better. So it is far better than most early access games out there. It is really well polished for not having a lot of glitches or bugs or issues for the most part. Just doing the first playthrough on it. So can't really suggest the game more. But like I said, tomorrow, I'll be back on streaming tomorrow, be somewhere around 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll go in and do the raid content. And then once the raid content is over, as soon as that's done, I'll get into doing more of this game, and we'll stream for a couple of hours on that tomorrow night, probably. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure if you're hitting YouTube, if you're on YouTube, be sure and hit that like and subscribe. And if you're watching from Twitch, be sure and hit that follow button. Come back and see me when I'm live in the future. Have a great night, guys.